Chapter 215. Upon hearing the Mother of Bloodbath's words, Lin Yuan could not help but be a little stunned. Others auctioned source-type lifeforms for contracts, but the Mother of Bloodbath obtained source-type lifeforms to eat. However, the Mother of Bloodbath's purpose of eating source-type lifeforms was the same as humans' purpose of contracting source-type lifeforms. It was to become stronger. The law of survival for Fays was survival of the fittest, let alone the Mother of Bloodbath. From the moment he was born, he had never contracted a spirit chi professional and had relied on himself to step into suzerain/myth I. The Mother of Bloodbath had experienced countless killings since it was young, so it was only natural for it to consume source-type lifeforms to increase its strength. After the Shadow Bat King took out the 3 source-type items, he pointed at the middle-aged woman who had just spoken. Let the Lightning Sparrow King introduce the contract conditions of these 3 source-type items. The middle-aged woman took over the Shadow Bat King's work and said, apart from being a combat class spirit chi professional, this king is also a pinnacle class 3 creation master. Therefore, let me explain the contract conditions for these 3 source-type items. Lin Yuan was surprised to find that this middle-aged female king-class expert, who was known as the Lightning Sparrow King, was actually quite popular. It was obvious that apart from the fact that the Lightning Sparrow King was a king-class expert, the more important reason was that she was a pinnacle class 3 creation master. According to the Radiance Federation's identity and status, a king-class expert status was actually equivalent to a class 3 creation master's. However, a pinnacle class 3 creation master's connections and influence had already faintly surpassed a pinnacle king-class expert. Class 4 creation masters were existences that king-class experts had to look up to. Any class 4 creation master would be someone that a king-class expert would have to curry favor with. The Lightning Sparrow King said as she picked up the source-type item. This source-type item is an elemental source-type item. Following the Lightning Sparrow King's words, the crowd below immediately became noisy. There were many types of source-type items, but the most precious ones were elemental source-type items. If elemental source-type items were nurtured properly, they would often be extremely powerful. At the same time, elemental source-type items were the most comprehensive. They combined attack, control, and defense into one. Many people's eyes lit up when they saw the amber button-shaped source-type item. But then, the Lightning Sparrow King changed the topic. She did not introduce how strong the source-type item was. Instead, she said, don't worry. The contract conditions for this amber button-shaped source-type lifeform are very harsh. It requires 2 willpower runes to contract it, and it's best if the 2 willpower runes are compatible. After the contract, when this source-type lifeform reaches legend, it will automatically be promoted to a fantasy breed. The Lightning Sparrow King's face twitched. God knew how happy the Lightning Sparrow King's king-class expert squad had been after obtaining this elemental source-type item. But he was speechless when he learned the contract conditions of the amber button-shaped source-type item. Lin Yuan was waiting for the Lightning Sparrow King to say this. However, the contract conditions mentioned by the Lightning Sparrow King were much easier than the contract conditions for the amber button-shaped source-type lifeform and were not comprehensive enough. Apart from consuming 2 willpower runes, the contract condition for this amber button-shaped source-type lifeform was to consume 2 willpower runes. The exclusive skill would only appear after this source-type item was upgraded to a fantasy breed. This source-type lifeform was special in that it had no abilities. Instead, it would produce 3 exclusive skills when it became a fantasy breed. One of the exclusive skills was randomly generated like other Fays, while the other 2 were related to the 2 willpower runes used during the contract. Each willpower rune corresponded to an exclusive skill. Therefore, if this elemental source-type lifeform could not be upgraded to legend and become a fantasy breed, it would be like wasting 2 willpower runes. It would be equivalent to wasting 2 willpower runes in exchange for a useless amber button-shaped crystal. Of course, Lin Yuan would not expose all this. Just the fact that it required 2 willpower runes was enough to prevent anyone from having any thoughts of contracting this elemental amber crystal button-shaped source-type item. As expected, the expressions on the faces of those who had been eager to try were as disgusting as if they had eaten cat litter that had not been changed for 3 years. Using only 1 willpower rune was already unacceptable. With the willpower rune, one could contract a bronze high-quality fae and strive to become a fantasy breed before gold. This was the most accurate way to use the willpower rune. In the eyes of most people, consuming 2 willpower runes to contract a source-type lifeform might be something that only fools with unclear minds would choose to buy. The Lightning Sparrow King did not care about the reactions of the bidders below. Her team had taken out 3 source-type lifeforms for auction because the contract conditions for these 3 source-type lifeforms were extremely harsh. At the same time, they were of no use to her team members. If she had obtained a source-type lifeform that was easy to contract and nurture, her king-class team would definitely not have taken it out for auction. The Lightning Sparrow King continued to introduce the source-type lifeform in the second brocade box. Many of you should have heard of this source-type lifeform. It's an insect egg, and the source-type lifeform in the insect egg is the hurricane owlet moth. There is information on the hurricane owlet moth on the Radiance Federation star web. The hurricane owlet moth can use the tornado created by its wings to control the target. At the same time, the wind blades in the tornado have a strong penetrating effect and can cut through heavy armor. The hurricane owlet moth's contract conditions are very simple. As long as you can contract a breeze hibiscus, you can contract a source-type lifeform like the hurricane owlet moth. The Lightning Sparrow King was not stingy with her words. It was different from when she introduced the source-type item. When introducing the hurricane owlet moth, the Lightning Sparrow King mentioned all the advantages that could be brought out without missing a single detail. The people waiting for the auction immediately became interested when they heard that it was a hurricane owlet moth. Obviously, many people knew about the hurricane owlet moth. When the Lightning Sparrow King had introduced the hurricane owlet moth, Lin Yuan had already felt a chill down his spine. Lin Yuan found that Lu Jie's fists were clenched tightly, and his lips were pursed together. His eyes were fixed on the hurricane owlet moth egg in the brocade box. Lin Yuan immediately knew that Lu Jie was interested in the hurricane owlet moth, so he said, "That's right. Brother Lu, this hurricane owlet moth is quite suitable for your insect queen's platinum skill." Lu Jie's insect queen was a platinum/fantasy breed source-type lifeform, so it should have 5 skills. However, Lu Jie's platinum insect queen only had 4 skills. Lu Jie had always kept the slot for the platinum skill that relied on devouring insects to replicate the template. This hurricane owlet moth was very compatible with Lu Jie's platinum/fantasy breed insect queen's combat style. Moreover, the hurricane owlet moth was also a life form with an extremely simple template. Producing one would not consume much energy from the insect queen. Lu Jie smiled bitterly when he heard Lin Yuan's words. Lu Jie had long known about the hurricane owlet moth when his insect queen was still at silver. When Lu Jie saw the detailed introduction of the source-type life form, the hurricane owlet moth, on Star Web, he felt that the hurricane owlet moth was very compatible with his insect queen. However, source-type lifeforms were rare, and many of them were unique. They were not like fays that could be searched. When Lu Jie's insect queen had reached platinum, he had chosen an insect species fae and realized that there was really no suitable choice. Either the fae template that was suitable for the ability was too complicated, or the fae's ability with a simple template was not suitable. What Lu Jie's insect queen lacked the most was an insect species template that could be used to control it. Now that the source-type life form, the hurricane owlet moth, had unexpectedly appeared, the more Lu Jie thought about it, the more he felt that the hurricane owlet moth was very compatible with his insect queen. He wanted to read the latest chapter of Beast Evolution Merchant Claw Bookhouse for free. Chapter 216. But for Lu Jie, the biggest problem he faced was his lack of money. Lu Jie lent all the money to Bai Hao before the insect queen was injured. Bai Hao had returned the money to Lu Jie not long ago, but 10 million radiance dollars obviously could not buy a source-type life form like the hurricane owlet moth. Although Lu Jie did not say anything, Lin Yuan understood his desire for the source-type hurricane owlet moth from his eyes. Lin Yuan could not help but complain in his heart. It was the right decision to come to this private auction. He needed all 3 source-type life forms. One for himself, one for Lu Jie, and one for the mother of Bloodbath. The Lightning Sparrow King did not stop and continued to introduce the 3rd source-type item. The Lightning Sparrow King said as she held the blood-red egg-shaped source-type item in the 3rd brocade box. This should be the first time this source-type item has appeared. I don't know its specific function. However, the conditions are very simple. That is, you have to spend a large amount of mental energy to carry out the contract. After the contract is successful, you have to wait for the creature inside the egg to finish absorbing the large amount of blood energy in the egg. Only when the creature inside the egg is strong enough to break the eggshell will it break out. If you want to speed up the incubation of the source-type life form in this egg, you can feed it a lot of your own blood. An auctioneer who was interested in the life form within the blood-red egg stood up and asked. Lightning Sparrow King, how long will it take for the source-type creature to hatch? How much spiritual energy will it consume? The Lightning Sparrow King didn't hide anything. The hardness of this eggshell is able to withstand an all-out attack from a diamond fey. Therefore, if the life form inside the egg wants to hatch, it must be able to break the eggshell first. In terms of spiritual energy, it is roughly the spiritual energy required to form a contract with 3 platinum feys. If I feed a large amount of my own blood, I reckon it should be enough for 10 years. The Lightning Sparrow King's words made Zhao Xiaochun, who was sitting there, laugh. Lin Yuan didn't know what to say. If this source-type life form was fed with a large amount of its own blood for 10 years, even a person with a strong physique would die within a year. A normal person wouldn't even be able to last a month. Furthermore, the spiritual energy required for 3 platinum feys would require at least an A-rank spirit chi professional to achieve it. However, if one could really become an A-rank spirit chi professional, who would be willing to expend so much spiritual energy to contract an egg that would only hatch after more than a decade? Even if the fey hatched from the egg could reach diamond at the very least, the gains would not make up for the losses. The limit of feys that A-rank spirit chi professionals could withstand was pinnacle diamond. Even if an A-rank expert did not have a fantasy breed, if he kept nurturing a fey, it would not be a big problem to nurture it to diamond. Therefore, the source-type life form inside the blood-red eggshell had become an incomparably useless existence. However, with true data, if the source-type Nether River blood mosquito could be hatched, it would not be as simple as diamond. However, it would take at least 15 years for it to hatch, even if it was watered with a large amount of blood every day. Without the nourishment of fresh blood, it might not even hatch in 100 years. The blood energy within the egg was simply too vast. Who knew how long it would take for the dark sea blood mosquito larvae to absorb it all by themselves? Although this blood-red eggshell could withstand a diamond full-force attack, the mother of Bloodbath was a suzerain/myth-eye expert. Breaking this blood-red eggshell was really not a difficult task. After the Lightning Sparrow King introduced the 3 source-type items, the bidding could start. However, most people's gazes were on the hurricane owlet moth in the 2nd box. The Lightning Sparrow King said directly. Then let's auction this hurricane owlet moth first. Lin Yuan did not make a move immediately. The price of the hurricane owlet moth soared all the way to 30 million radiance dollars before slowing down. At this moment, a young man with a ponytail stood up and said, "Senior Lightning Sparrow King, I wonder if I can use a bronze/epic gold devouring rat to exchange for this source-type life form, hurricane owlet moth?" As soon as the young man with a head full of dreadlocks spoke, the scene quieted down. Bronze/Epic Phase were currently the highest quality Bronze Phase that appeared in the Radiance Federation. Any Bronze/Epic Phase had the potential to reach Legend from Gold. Those with great potential could even reach the Legend rank at the Silver rank. Therefore, any Bronze/Epic Phase was equivalent to a great fortuitous opportunity. Even a King-class expert would be tempted after hearing about a Bronze/Epic Phase. When Lin Yuan saw the hesitation on the Lightning Sparrow King's face, he knew that it was time for him to make a move. If he still didn't make a move and the Lightning Sparrow King agreed, then it would be too late for him to speak. Lin Yuan stood up and said, "That's right. Senior Lightning Sparrow King, I also have a Bronze/Epic Phase and would like to use it to participate in the auction." The Lightning Sparrow King immediately asked, "Little friend, what kind of Bronze/Epic Phase are you talking about?" Lin Yuan didn't know how to answer the Lightning Sparrow King's question. Lin Yuan couldn't possibly say that he had all the species that she wanted. Even if she couldn't think of them, he would have them too. If he said that, he would undoubtedly sound like a troublemaker. The youth with the dreadlocks frowned when he saw Lin Yuan bidding against him. "If you have a Bronze/Epic Phase, summon it. Let's see whose Bronze/Epic Phase can enter the Lightning Sparrow King's eyes." After saying that, the youth with the dreadlocks summoned a golden rat from the diamond phase storage box on his chest. He walked forward and handed the golden rat to the Lightning Sparrow King before saying, "Senior, please check it. Senior, please check it. If you plan to exchange with me, I can add another 10 million Radiance dollars." The youth with the dreadlocks spoke very sincerely, and his eyes were filled with determination. The Lightning Sparrow King took the golden rat and nodded in amazement. It really is a Bronze/Epic Gold devouring rat. However, although the Lightning Sparrow King's tone was filled with amazement, there wasn't any joy on her face. It was obvious that this Bronze/Epic Gold devouring rat didn't match the two King-class experts who had comprehended the willpower rune in the Lightning Sparrow King's King-class expert squad. Bronze/Epic Source-type lifeforms were very rare, so very few people could perfectly match the willpower rune with the Bronze/Epic Source-type lifeform. People who comprehended the willpower rune would choose a Bronze/Epic Phase. The first choice would naturally be a Phase that matched the willpower rune that they had comprehended within their aptitude. This situation was no different from winning the lottery. The secondary choice would be a Phase that matched their aptitude, and there was no need to consider whether the willpower rune would match. Many people who had awakened the willpower rune would choose a Bronze/Epic Phase that matched their aptitude. It was already extremely difficult for most people who had awakened the willpower rune to find a Bronze/Epic Phase that matched their aptitude, and they couldn't find it even after painstakingly searching for it. The youth with the dreadlocks' actions were equivalent to putting Lin Yuan on fire. If Lin Yuan couldn't take out a Bronze/Epic Phase, it would be tantamount to causing trouble. Many people's eyes were gathered on him, including the Lightning Sparrow King and the Shadow Bat King. Wen Yu felt the youth with the dreadlocks looking at Lin Yuan with an unfriendly gaze. Wen Yu's expression changed, and the aura of the Radiant Moon Palace's spirit attendant suddenly rose. This kind of aura came from one's level and vision, not from one's strength. Lin Yuan could feel the change in Wen Yu's temperament. He shook his head at Wen Yu and spoke to the Lightning Sparrow King in a clear voice. "Senior Lightning Sparrow King, I won't add Radiance dollars, but you can choose the species of the Bronze/Epic Phase that I will provide." Baidu took a look at the latest chapter of the Beast Evolution Merchant Claw Book House and read it for free. Chapter 217. When the Lightning Sparrow King heard Lin Yuan's words, her pupils suddenly contracted, and she was stunned for a moment before replying. "Is that true?" Lin Yuan revealed a bright smile and replied calmly. "I'm here to bid for the source-type item, so I naturally won't deceive you. If I did, I wouldn't be able to take the source-type item in your hands." Zhao Xiaochun excitedly slapped Fang Duoduo's thigh repeatedly as she spoke. Fuck. This little handsome guy is simply too handsome. Fang Duoduo, after seeing this little handsome guy, I'm a little hungry. I want to eat pig trotters stewed with fermented bean curd. Zhao Xiaochun was patting Fang Duoduo's thigh when she suddenly felt that something was wrong. Fang Duoduo immediately bent over like a prawn and said with a flushed face. Zhao Xiaochun, you really are ruthless. If you're love-struck, then go slap your own thigh. Why did you have to wipe out the entire Fang clan? Zhao Xiaochun looked at Fang Duoduo apologetically and said awkwardly. Meow. Fang Duoduo rolled his eyes and said with tears in his eyes. Woof. When the youth with the dreadlocks heard Lin Yuan's words, his face darkened. Words are no proof. You have to prove what you said. There are so many people here watching. I don't think my friend is making fun of everyone here and deliberately causing trouble, right? As soon as the young man with the dreadlocks finished speaking, Lu Jie's expression turned solemn as he prepared to stand up. Lin Yuan placed his hand on Lu Jie's shoulder and patted him to let him continue sitting in his seat. Lu Jie had an indescribable feeling in his heart. As early as when Lin Yuan had stood up to bid for this source-type hurricane owlet moth, Lu Jie had felt an indescribable feeling in his heart. Lu Jie suddenly felt a surge of warmth in his heart. Lu Jie's heart was abnormally heavy when he saw the hurricane owlet moth being auctioned. The hurricane owlet moth was obviously very suitable for his insect queen, but his current savings were not enough to purchase this source-type life-form hurricane owlet moth. The moment Lin Yuan stood up to bid for the hurricane owlet moth, Lu Jie thought of what Lin Yuan had just said. This hurricane owlet moth is quite suitable for your insect queen's platinum skill. When Lin Yuan said this, he must have made up his mind to help him bid for this source-type hurricane owlet moth. Lu Jie had long regarded Lin Yuan as his faith. However, Lin Yuan's actions still moved Lu Jie. Lu Jie knew that retainer knights were essentially servants. However, Lin Yuan had never treated her as a servant. This feeling of being saved from danger and being treated with sincerity made Lu Jie feel a myriad of emotions welling up in his heart. He didn't know what to say. Thank you is too easy to say, it seems empty. Therefore, the only thing he could do was to protect the young man before him with all his might. Faith was not heavy, because faith had always been a kind of sustenance. Now, at some point in time, another thing called, till death comes had been born in this trust. Lin Yuan looked at the expression on the youth's face and could not help but raise his eyebrows. Lin Yuan could see that the youth with the dreadlocks was very eager for the source-type life form, the hurricane owlet moth. Moreover, the value of the bronze/epic gold devouring rats was comparable to the source-type life form, the hurricane owlet moth. The youth with the dreadlocks had added another 10 million radiance dollars, which was enough to show his sincerity. However, Lin Yuan would not decline modestly, as this was how the auction worked. The item would belong to whoever offered the highest price. Moreover, this hurricane owlet moth was of great use to him. Lu Jie's insect queen was already a platinum/fantasy breed source-type life form. However, its platinum abilities were still empty. Lu Jie's insect queen's 4 abilities could be considered to form a system. It had melee attack, long-range attack, and defense. However, if the insect queen could engrave the hurricane owlet moth's genetic model and become Lu Jie's platinum ability, it would join the insect queen's combat system. It would have melee attack, long-range attack, and a control ability in addition to the defense ability. This would allow Lu Jie's insect queen's combat system to have a qualitative leap. When the Lightning Sparrow King heard the youth with the dreadlocks' words, she could not help but look a little displeased. Since Lin Yuan stood up, the Lightning Sparrow King had been carefully observing him. The youth's temperament made the Lightning Sparrow King admire him very much. This indifferent temperament made the Lightning Sparrow King feel that the youth in front of her was somewhat unfathomable. However, when the Lightning Sparrow King saw the material of Lin Yuan's black coat, she knew that this youth would not deceive her. As a Class 3 creation master, the Lightning Sparrow King's vision wasn't something that ordinary people could compare to. The Lightning Sparrow King immediately saw that the feather embroidery on the youth's coat was made of the silk thread that the Platinum Dark Death creepy spider spat out. The Platinum Dark Death creepy spider normally wouldn't spit silk and would only spit out silk thread to protect itself when it was molting. It showed how rare the silk thread of the Platinum Dark Death creepy spider was. Moreover, the Lightning Sparrow King could recognize the person sitting beside this youth. It was Wuxia. As a member of the Radiance 100 sequence, the Radiance Federation's experts would naturally recognize Wuxia. Moreover, Wuxia's heroic deeds had shaken the Radiance Federation for a period of time. Young friend, if I say the phase type, how long will it take for me to obtain the corresponding bronze/epic phase? Lin Yuan replied softly. Senior Lightning Sparrow King, if you say the phase type, the bronze/epic phase will be delivered to you before this time tomorrow. The Lightning Sparrow King heard and was about to speak. However, before the Lightning Sparrow King could speak, the youth with the dreadlocks spoke first. Lord Lightning Sparrow King, apart from this bronze/epic gold devouring rat, I'm willing to add another $5 million Radiance dollars on top of the $10 million Radiance dollars to exchange for the source-type Hurricane Owlet Moth. The Lightning Sparrow King ignored the youth with the dreadlocks. To a King-class expert, $5 million Radiance dollars wasn't considered an important wealth. What was truly important was the bronze/epic phase that was compatible with their innate affinity. It wasn't the Lightning Sparrow King who had comprehended the willpower rune. However, a King-class team's members were originally close partners. Furthermore, the stronger the members of the team, the more help and less danger they would face when exploring in the wilderness or dimensional rifts. The youth with the dreadlocks looked at the Lightning Sparrow King's expression and knew that if that youth in black didn't deliberately cause trouble, this source-type Hurricane Owlet Moth was destined to have no fate with him. The Lightning Sparrow King and the Shadow Bat King exchanged glances before speaking. Young friend, there are power offense-type winged insect species phase and defense-type deer species phase. If any of these two phase can reach bronze/epic, then this Hurricane Owlet Moth will be yours. After speaking, the Lightning Sparrow King paused for a moment and continued speaking. However, you said that I can only get the bronze/epic phase to exchange for the Hurricane Owlet Moth tomorrow, so I have to have something as collateral. Many people's eyes were gathered on Lin Yuan. They wanted to see what exactly Lin Yuan would take out as collateral for the Hurricane Owlet Moth. Since it was collateral, even if the collateral's price was slightly lower than the Hurricane Owlet Moth, it probably wouldn't be much lower than the Hurricane Owlet Moth. Everyone present really wanted to see what this youth could take out that could compete with the value of the Hurricane Owlet Moth. Lin Yuan didn't expect that one of the two bronze/epic phase in his diamond phase storage box would actually be the power offense-type winged insect species phase that the Lightning Sparrow King mentioned. What a coincidence. However, the bronze/epic flame vein dragonfly in Lin Yuan's spirit lock spatial zone had awakened the bloodline of the prehistoric Silurian overlord, the huge vein dragonfly, under the extremely pure spirit chi in the spirit lock spatial zone. A bronze/legend phase like the flame vein dragonfly in exchange for a source-type Hurricane Owlet Moth was too much of a loss for Lin Yuan. However, he still waved his hand and summoned the bronze/epic flame vein dragonfly, which had awakened the bloodline of the prehistoric Silurian overlord, the huge vein dragonfly. After summoning the bronze/epic flame vein dragonfly, he extended a hand. The bronze/epic flame vein dragonfly's 2-meter-long body could no longer land on Lin Yuan's finger. It could only flap its wings and fly around his palm. Lin Yuan said as he looked at the bronze/epic flame vein dragonfly. I happen to have one of the power offense-type winged insect species phase that Senior Lightning Sparrow King mentioned. However, Senior should know that source-type Hurricane Owlet Moth can't be exchanged for this bronze/epic flame vein dragonfly that has awakened the bloodline of the prehistoric Silurian overlord, the giant vein dragonfly. Baidu read the latest chapter of the Beast Evolution Merchant Claw Book House for free. Chapter 218. When Lin Yuan summoned the flame vein dragonfly, the Lightning Sparrow King and the Shadow Bat King's eyes were firmly attracted to it. The flame vein dragonfly's fiery red body was covered with green patterns, and it flapped its wings and created phantoms. Although the flame vein dragonfly that Lin Yuan summoned was only bronze, if one carefully sensed it, one would be able to sense the violent fire and wind energy in the flame vein dragonfly's body. This violent energy originated from the bronze/epic flame vein dragonfly awakening the bloodline of the prehistoric Silurian overlord, the huge vein dragonfly. Such a bloodline awakening was equivalent to a fish-type Fae awakening the thin dragon species bloodline in its body. The sublimation of the genetic model was a crucial transformation in the evolution of life forms. This flame vein dragonfly had undergone such a transformation. The flame vein dragonfly and the gold-devouring rats were both bronze/epic phase. However, in comparison, the flame vein dragonfly looked much stronger than the gold-devouring rats. Of course, this was not the reason why the Lightning Sparrow King and the Shadow Bat King valued this flame vein dragonfly so much. The reason the Lightning Sparrow King and the Shadow Bat King were so interested in this bronze/epic flame vein dragonfly was that its ability to use wind and fire was compatible with the willpower rune comprehended by the King-class expert in their team, who had an affinity with winged insects and insect species phase. Even if a King-class expert comprehended a willpower rune and searched for a bronze/epic Fae, they would only dare to hope to find a bronze/epic Fae that was compatible with their talent. It was impossible to hope for a bronze/epic Fae to be compatible with the willpower rune comprehended by the King-class expert in the team. But now, there was actually a bronze/epic Fae that was not only compatible with the King-class expert's talent, but also had a compatible willpower rune. Moreover, this Fae that matched their team members' talent and willpower rune had even awakened such a powerful bloodline. The youth with the dreadlocks had been very enthusiastic about the source-type life form, the Hurricane Owlet Moth. In that case, the Lightning Sparrow King and Shadow Bat King were very enthusiastic about the bronze/epic flame vein dragonfly that Lin Yuan had summoned. In fact, they were even more enthusiastic. Despite being a Pinnacle Class 3 creation master and a King-class expert, the Lightning Sparrow King couldn't help but feel nervous. As a Pinnacle Class 3 creation master, the Lightning Sparrow King could see how outstanding the flame vein dragonfly was. This made the Lightning Sparrow King want to swap this bronze/epic flame vein dragonfly for her teammates. When the other participants saw the bronze/epic flame vein dragonfly that Lin Yuan had summoned, they couldn't help but be shocked. One of them looked at the flame vein dragonfly with an expression of extreme desire. However, when he saw that the Lightning Sparrow King and the Shadow Bat King were just like him, he could only force a smile and suppress his thoughts. If this wasn't the Lightning Sparrow King and the Shadow Bat King's territory, this person would probably stand up and fight with Lin Yuan no matter what. He wanted to see if he could buy this bronze/epic flame vein dragonfly that had awakened the bloodline of the Silurian overlord, the giant vein dragonfly, at a high price. The Lightning Sparrow King said after some consideration. "Young friend, I won't hide it from you. Your flame vein dragonfly is very compatible with the willpower rune comprehended by my team member who has an affinity with winged insect species phase. I wonder if we can use this source-type Hurricane Owlet Moth as well as a satisfactory reward to exchange for this bronze/epic flame vein dragonfly?" The Lightning Sparrow King had already made up her mind. As long as he could keep the deep blue soul awakening petal. No matter what the young man in front of him wanted, as long as he could afford it and the price was not too ridiculous, he would agree to it. Lin Yuan didn't stand on ceremony. He knew very well how outstanding and rare this bronze/epic flame vein dragonfly was. Moreover, a trade was about each taking what they needed, and at the same time, it was also a kind of game. He was not a philanthropist. Just because it was easy for him to enhance phase, he would casually exchange bronze/epic phase at a low price. For example, the Lightning Sparrow King still needed him to be a guarantor during the transaction. Lin Yuan estimated the value of the bronze/epic flame vein dragonfly and said in a clear voice, "Senior Lightning Sparrow King, the other two source-type items shouldn't be easy to sell. Whether it consumes 2 willpower runes or a large amount of mental strength, as well as continuously watering them with blood for 10 years, ordinary people can't bear it. I wonder if my flame vein dragonfly, which has awakened the bloodline of the Silurian overlord, the huge vein dragonfly, can be exchanged for Senior Lightning Sparrow King's 3 source-type items?" Lin Yuan emphasized the flame vein dragonfly's awakened bloodline. In fact, there was no need for Lin Yuan to mention it. Be it the Pinnacle Class 3 Creation Master Lightning Sparrow King or the Spirit Chi professionals present who had some understanding of the flame vein dragonflies, they all understood. If not for the fact that this flame vein dragonfly had awakened the bloodline of the Silurian hegemon, the giant vein dragonfly. At most, it would only grow to about 30 centimeters. It definitely wouldn't grow to its current size of 2 meters. When the Lightning Sparrow King heard Lin Yuan's request, she couldn't help but hesitate and ponder. Although the other 2 source-type items had very harsh contract conditions, they were still 2 source-type items. At the same time, these 2 source-type items had appeared for the first time, and they had never been heard of before. If these 2 source-type items plus the source-type life form, the hurricane owlet moth, their actual value would be more expensive than this bronze/epic flame vein dragonfly. Even if this bronze/epic flame vein dragonfly had awakened the bloodline of the Silurian hegemon, the giant vein dragonfly, its value was still much lower than these 3 source-type items. While the Lightning Sparrow King was pondering, Lin Yuan had a relaxed expression. A transaction was originally a game, and it was no different from a chess game. The initiative was now in Lin Yuan's hands. What Lin Yuan wanted to gamble on was whether the Lightning Sparrow King would agree to the price he offered. If she agreed, he would have an advantage, and all 3 source-type items he needed would belong to him. If the Lightning Sparrow King didn't agree, it wouldn't be a big problem for Lin Yuan. He just needed to increase his bargaining chips. Since the Lightning Sparrow King had already made up her mind and needed to weigh it, Lin Yuan knew that this proved that his request was within the acceptable range. While the Lightning Sparrow King was pondering, the youth with the dreadlocks' ugly expression turned into complete despair. The youth with the dreadlocks knew that this source-type life form, the hurricane owlet moth, was destined to have no fate with him. The Lightning Sparrow King wasn't considering the ownership of the hurricane owlet moth. Instead, she was considering whether the other 2 source-type items could be used as bargaining chips to exchange for this bronze/epic flame vein dragonfly that had awakened the bloodline of the giant vein dragonfly. The youth with the dreadlocks looked at Lin Yuan with some anger. Just as the youth with the dreadlocks was looking at Lin Yuan angrily, he suddenly felt as though a new door had opened in his mind. Wasn't it because he was a support-type Spirit Chi professional that he had put in so much effort to purchase the hurricane owlet moth? Due to his affinity with support-type plant phase, he had always lacked effective attacking means. Furthermore, among the support-type plant phase that he had contracted, there happened to be the breeze hibiscus, the source-type life form, the hurricane owlet moth's prerequisite. In fact, among the support-type plant phase, there were also phase with offensive means. It was just that such a support-type plant phase with offensive means was too rare. Just now, this black-clothed youth had given the Lightning Sparrow King a condition that she could choose any bronze/epic phase. Then why did he have to hold on to this hurricane owlet moth? He might as well look for this black-clothed youth and see if he had a bronze/epic support-type plant fey with offensive ability that could be of help to him. How good would that be? The youth with the dreadlocks' expression changed from despair to anticipation. He couldn't help but give himself a thumbs up in his heart. I, Xiaofan, am really a clever little devil. Baidu immediately read the latest chapter of the Beast Evolution Merchant Claw Book House for free. Chapter 219. Apart from the youth with the dreadlocks, everyone else looked at Lin Yuan with contemplation in their eyes. Anyone who was able to participate in this private auction organized by a king-class experts team definitely had a high status. However, when they looked at this black-robed youth, they felt that this black-robed youth was extremely unfamiliar. They had never heard of him before. Apart from his temperament, everyone was more concerned about the identity of this black-clothed youth. What kind of foundation could allow this black-clothed youth to say that he could choose any type of bronze/epic fey? This black-clothed youth could casually take out and awaken the bronze/epic flame vein dragonfly bloodline of the Silurian overlord, the huge vein dragonfly. This was a kind of foundation. Looking at the young man's calm expression, it was obvious that the young man did not think much of this bronze/epic flame vein dragonfly that had awakened the Silurian overlord bloodline of the huge vein dragonfly. The Lightning Sparrow King was silent for a while and then looked at the Shadow Bat King. The Lightning Sparrow King said after seeing the Shadow Bat King nod his head firmly after a moment of hesitation. Little friend, I agree to the deal. These 3 source-type items are yours. Lin Yuan smiled and nodded. Senior Lightning Sparrow King, this bronze/epic flame vein dragonfly is yours. Lin Yuan touched the bronze/epic flame vein dragonfly's wings as a farewell to this dragonfly that he had nurtured. Lin Yuan had wanted to find a good home for the flame vein dragonflies. The Lightning Sparrow King was a member of the king-class team, and he was the best choice. As long as the flame vein dragonfly advanced from epic to legend, it would immediately have a willpower rune and could evolve into a fantasy breed. It was very rare for Fays to obtain a willpower rune to evolve into a fantasy breed after forming a contract with a human. After bidding farewell to the bronze/epic flame vein dragonfly, he stored it in a bronze Fey storage box and handed it to Wen Yu. Wen Yu took the Fey storage box that contained the bronze/epic flame vein dragonflies and handed it to the Lightning Sparrow King. At the same time, she took the 3 brocade boxes containing the source-type items from the Lightning Sparrow King's hands and handed them to Lin Yuan. Lin Yuan casually handed the source-type Hurricane Owlet Moth to Lu Jie. Brother Lu, now your Insect Queen's Platinum skill can be obtained. Lu Jie took the Hurricane Owlet Moth and revealed an honest smile. Lu Jie didn't say thank you. He just clenched his fist. With the Hurricane Owlet Moth, the Platinum/Fantasy Eye Insect Queen's combat system would be truly perfected. Lu Jie's Platinum/Fantasy Eye Insect Queen would also reach its peak. Lu Jie didn't know what to say. It was just to become stronger in this life and then protect this young man in front of him. This was a path that he would walk until the end. Wen Yu saw everything. She looked at Lin Yuan and then at Lu Jie before revealing a brilliant smile. Wen Yu had never imagined such a life, but this kind of life was really free and comfortable. He had faith and emotion. In fact, the real bridge between people was their feelings for each other. Be it family, love, or friendship, they all ended up the same way. It was just an emotion, a responsibility. Wen Yu had long regarded this manor as a small home. This feeling was like being able to stand in the wind and rain at any time. This feeling of home was really good. At this point, the private auction held by this king-class squad was completely over. Zhao Xiaochun originally wanted to find Lin Yuan and Lu Jie for a big meal with Fang Duo. On one hand, Lu Jie had returned. As a fellow Radiance 100 seedling, she wanted to welcome him. On the other hand, both of them wanted to get to know Lin Yuan and become friends. However, after Fang Duo received a call, his expression immediately changed. Fang Duo said a few words to Zhao Xiaochun, and she immediately changed from a mischievous expression to a serious one. It was as though she had become a completely different person. Zhao Xiaochun excused herself to Lin Yuan and Lu Jia and hurriedly left with Fang Duo. Lin Yuan, Lu Jia, and Wen Yu were not in a hurry to go home. Instead, they were going to the night market next to the Rare Life Form Pavilion for a midnight snack. As soon as they left the Rare Life Form Pavilion, Lin Yuan saw the youth with the dreadlocks jogging toward him with a smile on his face. Lu Jia immediately stepped forward and blocked in front of Lin Yuan. The youth with the dreadlocks ran over and giggled before flattering Lin Yuan. Brother, let's get to know each other. My name is Gao Feng. There might have been some misunderstanding during the auction just now. Upon hearing that, Lin Yuan smiled and replied, "It's just a bidding war. Don't worry about it." After saying that, Lin Yuan was about to walk forward with Lu Jia and Wen Yu, but he realized that this youth with the dreadlocks had no intention of leaving. At that moment, the youth with the dreadlocks asked cautiously, brother, do you still have other kinds of bronze/epic phase? Lin Yuan knew what was going on as soon as he heard the youth with the dreadlocks' words. After listening to what Lin Yuan had said to the Lightning Sparrow King at the auction, this youth with the dreadlocks had designs on the other kinds of bronze/epic phase that Lin Yuan had mentioned. Lin Yuan pondered for a moment and did not immediately refuse. Instead, he said, I do have bronze/epic phase here, but the price is not cheap. Among them, plant-type bronze/epic phase might be more expensive. From the fact that this youth with the dreadlocks wanted the source-type hurricane owlet moth so much, Lin Yuan knew that he must be able to contract a breeze hibiscus. Therefore, it was not difficult to guess this youth with the dreadlocks' fey affinity. When the youth with the dreadlocks heard Lin Yuan's answer, he was immediately delighted. Especially when he heard the words bronze/epic plant species fey, the youth with the dreadlocks' eyes almost turned into two large green and shiny light bulbs under the night sky. The youth with the dreadlocks was pleasantly surprised. My Gao family has plenty of money. I wonder if I can take a look at what species of bronze/epic plant phase there are. Are there any that are good at attacking? Lin Yuan asked. I can't see them for now. Leave me your contact number, and I'll contact you when I can. The youth with the dreadlocks, Gao Feng, immediately left his number to Lin Yuan and said, Brother, don't be in a hurry. Brother, there's no rush. You can summon me whenever you have time. After saying that, Gao Feng kept waving his hand and watched Lin Yuan and the others leave like a traffic light. Wen Yu whispered to Lin Yuan. The Gao family that this youth with the dreadlocks mentioned should be the richest family in Wind Mist City, one of the 32 major cities. Ever since Wen Yu had become Lin Yuan's assistant, she had crammed up information on the Radiance Federation's major factions, thinking that it would be useful one day. Information on the Radiance Federation's major factions might be extremely difficult for others. However, it was very easy for Wen Yu. She just needed to browse through the Radiant Moon Palace's database. Wen Yu's hard work was finally coming in handy. Lin Yuan nodded. He would treat this youth with the dreadlocks as the first customer of his Fey store after his mansion was built. He hoped that he could exchange for something interesting from this youth with the dreadlocks. Lin Yuan no longer lacked Radiance dollars. Once his Fey store opened, it would sell high-end Feys, and he would not be able to afford it. Therefore, he naturally would not choose to trade with Radiance dollars. Instead, he would choose to barter for something that Lin Yuan was interested in. Lin Yuan, Wen Yu, and Lu Jia had a midnight snack at the night market. Lin Yuan and Wen Yu had been trained by Lu Jia during this period. The snacks in the royal capital's night market were not as delicious as Lu Jia's. Along the way, Lu Jia received a lot of compliments from Lin Yuan and Wen Yu, which made him smile foolishly. It was already very late when they returned to the mansion. However, Lin Yuan was not in a hurry to sleep. Instead, he took out the source-type item that was in the shape of an amber crystal button. He was ready to contract this amber button-shaped source-type item. He wanted to read the latest chapter of the Beast Evolution Merchant Claw Book House for free. Chapter 220. Lin Yuan looked at the source-type item that was in the shape of an amber crystal button. According to true data, this amber button-shaped source-type item was called the source sand. The source sand represented the sand element of elemental source-type items and could be considered a variant of the earth element. Lin Yuan was not in a hurry to immediately contract this source sand. Instead, he took out the blood-red eggshell containing the deep-sea blood mosquito that he had auctioned at the private auction from the leaf-shaped diamond face storage box on his chest. Lin Yuan walked out of his room and came to the long corridor outside the mansion. The eaves at the top of the long corridor did not look special under the night sky, but Lin Yuan knew that the mother of Bloodbath was there. Usually, as long as Lin Yuan returned to the mansion, the mother of Bloodbath would not follow him in. The mother of Bloodbath usually rested on the eaves outside the mansion, absorbing the spirit chi of heaven and earth and comprehending the law runes in its body. Mother of Bloodbath, I've brought you the source-type item you wanted at the private auction. Lin Yuan threw the blood-red eggshell containing the deep-sea blood mosquito toward the eaves. A red shadow flashed, and the blood-red eggshell containing the deep-sea blood mosquito disappeared into the night sky. The mother of Bloodbath's pleasant and strange voice rang in Lin Yuan's ears. Lin Yuan, I owe you a favor. Thank you. After saying that, the mother of Bloodbath was silent. Lin Yuan knew that the mother of Bloodbath should be preparing to absorb the majestic blood energy in the deep-sea blood mosquito egg. As Lin Yuan's path protector, he would naturally be very happy if the mother of Bloodbath's strength could increase. Moreover, Lin Yuan and the mother of Bloodbath had slowly developed feelings for each other over the past few months. The mother of Bloodbath usually hardly spoke, was not good with words, and was cold. However, he could feel the mother of Bloodbath's concern for him. The mother of Bloodbath usually said that it would not help him unless his life was in danger. However, just like the pinnacle class one-dimensional rift outside Millstone Town, the mother of Bloodbath actually had no need to take out the source-type item from the dimensional rift for him. It was precisely because of the source-type life form, the acid corrosion queen bee, that his strength had made a qualitative leap. Otherwise, he would not have been able to fight his way to the Celestial Stairway promotion duel by relying on the Silver I/Fantasy I Chimey and the Bronze 4/Epic Red Thorn. Not to mention the fact that he had a record of consecutive victories in the first 100 levels. The night breeze blew the green jade bells hanging on the four corners of the eaves of the house, emitting a faint ring. The clear sound of the bell was especially pleasant in the night wind. Lin Yuan took a deep breath of this late autumn night's cool air and felt energized. After looking at the beautiful scenery outside the mansion under the night sky, Lin Yuan returned to his room. He picked up the amber button-shaped elemental source-type source sand and carefully examined it before activating his spiritual energy. Lin Yuan summoned the yin-yang willpower rune he had comprehended from the alternation of the sun and moon in his spiritual energy and the myriad form willpower rune he had comprehended from the dragon phoenix landscape carp's observation of the beautiful mountains and rivers. Whether it was the yin-yang willpower rune he had comprehended from the alternation of the sun and moon or the myriad form willpower rune he had comprehended from the dragon phoenix landscape carp's observation of the beautiful mountains and rivers, their true core was change. This was also why Lin Yuan had not fused this myriad form willpower rune with genius, which was already at bronze X/legend, and let genius become a fantasy breed. For this amber button-shaped elemental source-type source sand, this kind of willpower rune with change was really suitable. Few people in this world would be like Lin Yuan, comprehending two willpower runes that were related in nature. Even if someone could comprehend two willpower runes that were related in nature, they would definitely not be willing to use 2 willpower runes as a prerequisite for contracting a source-type life form. Lin Yuan looked at the yin-yang willpower rune he had comprehended from the alternation of the sun and moon and the myriad form willpower rune he had comprehended from the beautiful mountains and rivers. His heart stirred slightly. He shot the 2 willpower runes into the amber button-shaped elemental source-type source sand. Then, he formed a contract with the source sand. Lin Yuan quickly completed the contract with the source sand. The 2 willpower runes shot into the source sand, but they were like stones sinking into the sea and did not cause any waves. The amber button-shaped elemental source-type source sand's appearance did not change in the slightest. Lin Yuan could not help but sigh. This amber button-shaped elemental source-type source sand was really magical. Lin Yuan used Morbius True Data to check the source sand's attributes. Fey name, source sand, Fey species, elemental/sand, Fey grade, normal, 1/10, Fey type, source, Fey quality, normal. Upon seeing the source sand's true data, Lin Yuan could not help but smile and shake his head. The data was so simple that it could be seen at a glance. It did not even have an ability. In fact, when Lin Yuan had used true data to check on the source sand at the auction, he had known that it was special. The source sand did not have any abilities. It would just have an exclusive skill like other phase and source-type lifeforms when it reached bronze. When the source sand reached legend, it would directly become a fantasy breed and would no longer need to consume willpower runes. When the source sand reached legend and became a fantasy breed, it would fuse with the 2 willpower runes consumed during the contract and produce 2 exclusive skills. These 2 exclusive skills would be determined according to the characteristics of the 2 willpower runes consumed during the contract. In other words, after the source sand became a fantasy breed, it would be a strange elemental source-type lifeform with no abilities but 3 exclusive skills. When Lin Yuan activated the source sand that had just been contracted, it turned into a large amount of fine sand and appeared at Lin Yuan's feet. Lin Yuan realized that he could command the source sand to turn into a large amount of fine sand as though he was commanding his own arm. For example, when Lin Yuan raised his hand, a wisp of fine sand would form a thin sand wall in the air based on Lin Yuan's thoughts to block. At that moment, Lin Yuan realized that a wisp of fine sand had the intention to drill into the ground. Lin Yuan hurriedly stopped the wisp of fine sand. This wisp of fine sand was the source sand of high concentration. The source sand's intention of drilling into the ground was to shatter the underground ores and soil to create sand. If Lin Yuan did not stop the source sand's next move, the newly built mansion would probably be destroyed by it. Lin Yuan took the source sand into the spirit lock spatial zone with the amber button-shaped elemental source-type source sand. What Lin Yuan was going to do next was to evolve the source sand into a fantasy breed. He wanted to see what kind of qualitative leap the source sand would have after it became a fantasy breed and produced 3 exclusive skills. He wanted to read the latest chapter of Beast Evolution Merchant Claw Bookhouse for free. Chapter 221. After Lin Yuan entered the Spirit Lock spatial zone, he immediately noticed that it was different from before. A lot of the low-grade energy ores that had piled up in the Spirit Lock spatial zone had been consumed. It had to be known that Lin Yuan had just bought this huge batch of low-grade energy ores not long ago. These low-grade energy ores had been piled up by Lin Yuan at the edge of the spirit pool. At that moment, Lin Yuan realized that the gold wind speed rapid antelope, which had been placed in the Spirit Lock spatial zone, was busy pushing batches of low-grade energy ores into the spirit pool. Lin Yuan could not help but be surprised by this discovery. Lin Yuan had already put the wind speed rapid antelope on Star Web. The gold wind speed rapid antelope was listed on the Star Web, and there were plenty of people asking for a price. However, Lin Yuan had never sold the wind speed rapid antelope. At that time, Lin Yuan had been busy enhancing phase, and he had not been short of money. Now, the Gold/Elite Wind Speed Rapid Antelope was still in his purchase with no loss store, but Lin Yuan had never thought of looking for information to purchase the Wind Speed Rapid Antelope. Although the Wind Speed Rapid Antelope was only elite, there were very few cases of a Silver Sword Horn Speed Antelope undergoing spiritual mutation and evolving into a Gold Wind Speed Rapid Antelope. Therefore, even if the Wind Speed Rapid Antelope's quality was not high, it was still very popular. As a Gold Fae, the Wind Speed Rapid Antelope could sense that the spirit chi in the Spirit Lock spatial zone was gathering in one direction and constantly decreasing. As a Fae, it had an instinct for a high spirit chi concentration. This instinct allowed the Wind Speed Rapid Antelope to constantly push low-grade energy ores into the spirit pool. Lin Yuan could not help but ponder that the Wind Speed Rapid Antelope was unexpectedly useful. Batch after batch of low-grade energy ores were pushed into the spiritual pool, and they were quickly decomposed into pure spiritual chi. This pure spirit chi was constantly gathering on a new glazed stone pillar in the Spirit Lock spatial zone. There was a small bowl made of limestone on this stone pillar. When the spirit chi gathered in the bowl, it started to constantly compress. Lin Yuan knew that this was Morbius' new ability, Spirit Chi Condensation, which was condensing Spirit Chi crystals. Lin Yuan had previously thought of Morbius' Spirit Chi Condensation ability. Condensing Spirit Chi crystals would consume a large number of energy ores, but he did not expect it to consume so many low-grade energy ores in a short period of time. If Morbius wanted to condense a Spirit Chi crystal, it would take at least 7 days with sufficient Spirit Chi. The low-grade energy ores in the Spirit Lock spatial zone could last for at least another 3 days. Lin Yuan's current goal was to enhance the source-type source sand, so he did not bother about the low-grade energy ores in the Spirit Lock spatial zone. When the Gold/Elite Wind Speed Rapid Antelope saw Lin Yuan, it immediately ran over. He rubbed the Wind Speed Rapid Antelope's head and could not help but think that it would be a good choice to raise it in the Spirit Lock spatial zone. At the very least, the Wind Speed Rapid Antelope could continuously pour low-grade energy ores into the spirit pool, which could save Lin Yuan a lot of trouble. With that thought in mind, he planned to remove this Gold/Elite Wind Speed Rapid Antelope from his purchase with no loss store. Rather than selling the Wind Speed Rapid Antelope, it would be a better choice to let it work as a laborer in the Spirit Lock spatial zone. Lin Yuan looked at the small limestone bowl that was constantly gathering Spirit Chi and was looking forward to the Spirit Chi crystal that Morbius would condense in 7 days. After sensing the changes in the Spirit Lock spatial zone, Lin Yuan started to enhance the source-type source sand. With the infusion of a large amount of pure Spirit Chi, the source-type source sand's grade and quality were constantly increasing. During the continuous increase in grade and quality, the source sand's original amber crystal button-like appearance also became more and more exquisite. When the source sand was at the normal grade, its amber crystal button-like appearance was like a button roughly carved out of topaz. Now, the elite amber crystal button-like appearance had completely become a finely polished and designed artwork. In a short while, Lin Yuan upgraded the source sand from normal I/normal to elite X/epic. Lin Yuan took a deep breath and did not stop. He immediately upgraded the source sand to bronze. It was now extremely easy for Lin Yuan to upgrade an elite Fae to bronze. Since the source sand's quality was epic at elite, it produced 3 exclusive skills when it was promoted to bronze. Lin Yuan looked at these 3 exclusive skills and could not help but be shocked. What kind of luck did I have to obtain 3 such superb exclusive skills at once? However, Lin Yuan could only keep one of these 3 exclusive skills. Lin Yuan had always been very decisive, but when he looked at these 3 superb exclusive skills, he could not help but hesitate. The first exclusive skill was Seething Sand. If he chose this exclusive skill, the gravel produced by the source sand would have a scorching characteristic. The scorching degree would increase as the source-type source sand's grade increased. This exclusive skill, Seething Sand, would undoubtedly increase the source sand's attack ability. It was a very powerful exclusive skill. The second exclusive skill was proliferation sand. This exclusive skill directly enhanced the source sand's proliferation ability. It allowed the source sand to quickly crush the sand and ores underground and produce a huge amount of gravel. The first of the two exclusive skills was to increase the source sand's attack power. The second exclusive skill, proliferation sand, increased the source sand's ability in all aspects. Although the proliferation sand was not as effective as the seething sand in terms of attack. However, in terms of defense and control, the proliferating sand was more comprehensive. If Lin Yuan had to choose between these two exclusive skills, he would choose the proliferation sand without hesitation. Although the seething sand was very powerful, it would clash with the sea of flowers that Lin Yuan's contracted source-type life form, Red Thorn, spread out. Under the seething sand's high temperature, it would be very difficult for Red Thorn's sea of flowers to survive, let alone fight. As a spirit chi professional, when contracting a Fey, the most taboo was to restrict the abilities or exclusive skills between the two Feys. This was undoubtedly the same as devaluing one's strength during the battle. The exclusive skill that Lin Yuan was really worried about was the third exclusive skill, sand control. Sand control was an exclusive skill that could increase his control over the source sand and reduce the spiritual power consumption when commanding the source sand. Lin Yuan was very satisfied with the sand control, which could reduce the spiritual power consumption when controlling the source sand. In a battle, every spirit chi professional was like a bucket, and spiritual power was the water. Every time the water in the bucket was used, there would be less. Read the latest chapter of Beast Evolution Merchant Claw Book House for free. Chapter 222. During Lin Yuan's first Star Web promotion duel, he had been at a disadvantage in the distribution of spiritual power. This made Lin Yuan pay great attention to the distribution of spiritual power in battle. As an all-round source-type item, Lin Yuan would use it frequently in battle. In Lin Yuan's opinion, it was much more useful than increasing the source sand's attack power when controlling the source sand in battle. However, before Lin Yuan enhanced the source sand, he had already used it. Lin Yuan already felt that commanding the source sand was like commanding his own body, and it was very smooth. Therefore, how could he increase the source sand's control? In the end, after hesitating for a moment, Lin Yuan firmly chose sand control. Putting aside the control ability, just based on the fact that sand control could save spiritual power, Lin Yuan had already decided to choose sand control. After Lin Yuan chose the exclusive skill, the source sand was finally considered to be a bronze source-type item. At that moment, the source sand was no longer a blank slate. Although the source sand still did not have any abilities, it had its first exclusive skill. Lin Yuan was not in a hurry to continue enhancing the source sand's quality. He raised it to legend and promoted it into a fantasy breed. Instead, he carefully examined the source sand's newly obtained exclusive skill, sand control. The source sand, which was now at bronze, had faint patterns on its crystal-sculpted button. These patterns were like the faint patterns on the gravel. Although every grain of gravel had a different pattern, just by looking at the source sand's amber crystal button's clear gravel pattern, it seemed to contain all the possible patterns that could exist in the fine sand. After looking at it for a long time, it was as though one could see a barren desert through the source sand. Lin Yuan activated the source sand, which was now at bronze. This time, the source sand had turned into nearly 50 caddies of gravel. Lin Yuan could feel that if he let the source sand's high concentration of gravel drill into the ground, it would not take long for it to create a large amount of fresh sand. Now that he was commanding the source sand to form various shapes, Lin Yuan realized that it was much easier than before. Previously, he had used his body to control the gravel. Now, it was as though a thought flashed in Lin Yuan's mind, and the gravel would start to move according to Lin Yuan's subconscious thoughts. After experimenting for a while, Lin Yuan suddenly realized that his control over the source sand wasn't just limited to controlling its shape. At the same time, he also found that he could control the density of the gravel and the pressure of the interaction between the gravel. He tried to manipulate a wisp of yellow sand to wrap around the low-grade energy ore at the edge of the spirit pool. The sturdy low-grade energy ore was easily crushed by a wisp of yellow sand from the source-type source sand. This discovery made Lin Yuan very happy. Lin Yuan tried to see how strong the pressure between the yellow sand was. In the end, he found that the intensity of the pressure was directly related to the spiritual power he consumed. At the same time, Lin Yuan also realized that he didn't consume any spiritual power when he commanded the yellow sand to change its shape. Only by increasing the pressure between the yellow sand and crushing the objects would it consume a small amount of spiritual energy. In Lin Yuan's opinion, sand grasp had really saved him a lot of spiritual power consumption. At the same time, it had also increased his combat ability to command the yellow sand. Moreover, the ability to change the pressure and density of the yellow sand was invisible to the naked eye, and it had the element of surprise and concealment. As long as the yellow sand was covered, Lin Yuan's claws would be everywhere. Lin Yuan looked at this elemental source-type life form that was even more exquisite than a work of art and was full of amazement. Although the source sand didn't have any abilities, just this exclusive skill alone made it not weaker than other phase and source-type lifeforms. In fact, if he really had to compare, the source sand was much stronger. For the next 5 days, Lin Yuan entered the same state of seclusion as before. Apart from eating with Wen Yu and Lu Jie, he would also ensure that he slept for 5 hours. Apart from ensuring 5 hours of sleep, he used the rest of the time to continuously enhance the source sand. During these 5 days, Lin Yuan almost did not pay attention to outside matters. Finally, the source sand's quality was upgraded from Bronze X/Epic to Legend. The moment the source-type source sand advanced from Bronze/Epic to Legendary, a huge gust of wind blew past them. Suddenly, the amber-colored crystal button-shaped source sand rose into the air amidst the swirling gravel. The 2 willpower runes that had been lurking in the source sand's body during the contract immediately emitted light. At this moment, the Yin-Yang willpower rune that Lin Yuan had comprehended from the alternation of the sun and moon and the myriad form willpower rune that he had comprehended from watching the Dragon Phoenix landscape carp's beautiful landscape transformation were considered to have truly merged with the source sand. The crystal button-shaped source sand's amber light shone brightly. Lin Yuan felt as though he was looking at a mysterious painting that seemed to exist in the wilderness. The mountains and rivers that stretched for thousands of miles were beautiful, constantly changing in the countless cycles of the sun and moon. Finally, under the alternation of the sun and moon, the beautiful landscape turned into a desert ruin. A gust of wind blew, blowing up the yellow sand in the sky. Whether it was the alternation of the sun and moon or the flow of the mountains and rivers, everything finally turned into gravel. This gravel gathered in this small amber-colored crystal button-shaped source sand that was even more exquisite than a work of art. When all the radiance converged on the crystal button-shaped source sand, the yellow sand immediately enveloped the source sand. When the amber-colored crystal button-shaped source sand revealed its appearance again, Lin Yuan realized that this amber-colored crystal button-shaped source sand was already very different from before. This amber-colored crystal button-shaped source sand had returned to its original appearance when Lin Yuan had first contracted it. It was plain and unadorned, and there were no clues. However, when Lin Yuan carefully observed it, he realized that this simple amber-colored crystal button-shaped source sand still contained a world full of yellow sand. Lin Yuan had heard of a phrase before, and it was called, "from complexity to simplicity." Lin Yuan had never understood what it meant. But now that he saw this source-type source sand slowly becoming exquisite from its initial appearance and finally becoming a fantasy breed before returning to its original appearance, Lin Yuan understood the meaning of "from complexity to simplicity." In fact, it was the same for humans. From complexity to simplicity, everything would eventually return to being ordinary, but ordinary people could not be ordinary. Lin Yuan held this amber-colored crystal button-shaped source sand that didn't forget its original intention. He used true data to check on the two exclusive skills that the Bronze X/Fantasy I source-type source sand had comprehended after becoming a fantasy breed. Lin Yuan couldn't help but raise his brows. This was because the two exclusive skills that the source sand had comprehended after becoming a fantasy breed were really related to transformation. However, these two kinds of transformations were completely different. Baidu read the latest chapter of Beast Evolution Merchant Claw Bookhouse for free. Chapter 223. At that moment, the Bronze X/Fantasy I source sand already had 3 exclusive skills. Apart from the exclusive skill sand control that the source sand had obtained after reaching bronze, the other 2 exclusive skills were Metal Consume Manifestation and Gravel Spirit Acceptance. The other 2 exclusive skills were Metal Consume Manifestation and Gravel Spirit Acceptance. Metal Consume Manifestation and Gravel Spirit Acceptance were the 2 exclusive skills that the source sand had obtained after evolving into a fantasy breed. In Lin Yuan's opinion, these 2 exclusive skills were indeed formed from the Yin-Yang Willpower Rune that he had comprehended from the Yin-Yang Alternation and the Myriad Form Willpower Rune that he had comprehended from the Dragon Phoenix Landscape Carp Body's Magnificent Landscape Transformation. Be it Metal Consume Manifestation or Gravel Spirit Acceptance, they both had extremely strong transformation characteristics. When looking at the Metal Consume Manifestation, Lin Yuan's eyes immediately lit up. Metal Consume Manifestation could devour a type of metal in the source sand, allowing the source sand to possess a portion of the devoured metal's characteristics. It could even quickly condense the devoured metal in the gravel during combat, forming a specific form for attack, defense, or control. The amount of a certain type of metal that Metal Consume Manifestation could devour was determined by the source-type source sand's grade. This exclusive skill allowed the source sand's combat style to immediately undergo a qualitative change. After all, the source sand was just a pile of yellow sand. Even if its offensive ability was strong, it was only strong to a limit. However, Metal Consume Manifestation was akin to burying a sharp sword in the sea of sand that could be brandished at any time. Lin Yuan pondered for a moment and decided to use ferromanganese, which was refined from ferromanganese ore, as the source sand's Metal Consume form would devour. The source sand's Metal Consume Manifestation did not mean that it could not be changed after devouring a specific metal. On the contrary, the source sand could change the metal it devoured according to Lin Yuan's instructions. The source sand was currently only at Bronze X/Epic, so the ferromanganese refined from the ferromanganese ore was undoubtedly very suitable for the source sand at this grade. The ferromanganese's characteristics were very simple: hardness and sharpness. The ferromanganese's surface was not smooth, and there were many kinds of flaky faults. If these flaky faults scratched the target's body, they would be able to injure the target's skin like a sharp file. If they pierced the target's body, they would simply be a sharp weapon for bleeding. Other than the gravel that the source sand had turned into, the gravel that it produced afterward was basically made by crushing the soil and ores in the ground to create sand. At that moment, the Bronze X/Fantasy I source sand strength was not enough to directly smash the high-density fine sand deep underground, shatter the solid rocks deep underground, and create a large amount of solid gravel. On the other hand, if the ferromanganese ores were transformed by the source sand by metal devouring, it would immediately increase the toughness of the source sand's gravel and its ability to produce sand. It could even make the edges and corners of the source sand's gravel sharper. As a bronze-grade spiritual material, ferromanganese could be auctioned in the Star Web's Rare Lifeform Pavilion. He bought a large number of bronze ferromanganese from the Star Web's Rare Lifeform Pavilion. At the same time, he went to Zhou Jiasen's shop and bought a large amount of low-grade energy ores. Lin Yuan had purchased a lot of low-grade energy ores this time, and they were stored in silver face storage boxes. They should be able to be stored in the Spirit Lock spatial zone for a long period of time. Lin Yuan took out the ferromanganese that he had obtained. The flakes of ferromanganese were blackish-blue in color, and they had more metallic luster than the ferromanganese ores. Lin Yuan let the source sand devour the ferromanganese that he had just obtained. While the source sand was devouring the ferromanganese, Lin Yuan constantly observed the source sand's changes. Lin Yuan realized that the source sand's changes weren't very obvious. However, the gravel's hardness was much higher than before. If he pinched a wisp of fine sand, he would be able to feel that the fine sand was like thorns that pricked his fingertips. Lin Yuan knew that the ferromanganese's metallic characteristics had been transferred to the source sand. Lin Yuan had purchased a lot of ferromanganese, but he had still underestimated the source sand's metal-devouring form and the amount of bronze ferromanganese that it could devour. In the end, Lin Yuan was only left with less than 150 caddies of ferromanganese out of the 4,000 caddies that he had purchased. After the source sand's metal-devouring form had devoured the ferromanganese, Lin Yuan began to carefully consider the form that the ferromanganese would take during battle. During metal-devouring form, the ferromanganese's form wasn't something that Lin Yuan could directly change. Due to the ferromanganese's hardness, if Lin Yuan were to change its form during battle, the source sand would precipitate the ferromanganese and turn it into a weapon, and it would consume a lot of spiritual power. Therefore, the weapon form that the source sand's metal-devouring form required Lin Yuan to condense before the source sand could memorize it. During the battle, Lin Yuan only needed a single command, and the source sand would be able to rely on metal-devouring form to produce the weapon form that it was already familiar with for battle. Since the source sand could only specify one weapon form, Lin Yuan had to be cautious about this weapon form. There were all sorts of weapon forms. Shields could be used for defense. Sharp swords could be used for damage. Chains or whips could be used for control. However, be it shields, sharp swords, chains, or whips, their effects were too monotonous. However, Lin Yuan was a clever fellow and quickly thought of a solution. The solution was the chain sword. The chain sword combined the advantages of sharp swords and chains, combining control and attack. At the same time, Lin Yuan widened the blade of the sharp sword so that it could be used as a shield to block attacks. Lin Yuan's design wouldn't reduce the source sand's metal-devouring form weapon's combat ability. On the contrary, due to the irregular fracture on the ferromanganese's surface, the chain sword's blade turned into a huge file. When the chain sword wrapped around the target, the sword didn't need to slash and only needed to rub to tear off a layer of flesh from the target's body. At the same time, when several chain swords were paired together, the broad and thick blades would intersect to form a giant iron cage. After trapping the target in the iron cage and controlling the target, the source sand could sink the trapped target deep underground. Then, it would change the pressure and density to trap the target underground. After making the decision, Lin Yuan transmitted the chain sword's appearance that was different from ordinary chain swords to the source sand. Immediately after, the source sand transformed back into the amber crystal button. The source sand still needed to memorize the chain sword's form before it could follow Lin Yuan's consciousness and casually suck out the high-purity ferromanganese from the yellow sand to form the chain sword. Baidu was the first to read the latest chapter of Beast Evolution Merchant Claw Book House for free. Chapter 224. Previously, Lin Yuan had also thought of letting the source sand devour a high-grade metal spiritual ingredient. Even if he could only devour a small amount of high-grade spirit materials, it would still be able to cause explosive damage in battle. However, Lin Yuan gave up after some consideration. Be it the silver/fantasy breed chimey or the gold/legend acid corrosion queen bee, they had extremely powerful single-target explosive abilities. Lin Yuan did not really need the source sand to deal extremely strong burst damage. On the contrary, after the source sand had devoured the ferromanganese, it had developed in all aspects, and Lin Yuan's combat strength had increased even more. After looking at the source sand's second exclusive skill, Lin Yuan was extremely satisfied with it. However, when Lin Yuan saw the third exclusive skill, he was stunned. Lin Yuan immediately felt that the source sand's comprehension of these two willpower runes was really fucking direct. Of these two transformations, one was alive, and the other was lifeless. The third exclusive skill, Gravel Spirit Acceptance, allowed the source sand to devour a Fey or dimensional life form. The number of Feys and source-type lifeforms that the source sand could devour depended on the lifeform's energy and the complexity of the template. Therefore, he had to carefully consider whether he should let the source sand's third exclusive skill, Gravel Spirit Acceptance, devour multiple targets and form a small army in the yellow sand. Furthermore, it would only devour one unit, allowing this unit's individual ability to reach the limit that the source sand's Gravel Spirit Acceptance could withstand. In the end, he gave up on the first idea. After experimenting, he realized that if the source sand only used its exclusive skill, Gravel Spirit Acceptance, to devour the dimensional lifeforms in Class 1 dimensional rifts, the source sand wouldn't be able to devour them. Depending on the genetic model of these Class 1 dimensional lifeforms, the source sand could accept anywhere from 10 to 25 gravel spirits. The number of Class 1 dimensional lifeforms in the source sand was equivalent to the same number of bronze Feys. Such bronze strength would not be of much use to Lin Yuan. Not only was it inferior to Red Thorn's Sea of Flowers, but it wasn't even as strong as the source sand's sand. Lin Yuan realized that if the Bronze X/Fantasy Source Sand were to devour the Class 2-dimensional life form, the Horn Demon, in the Abyss Dimensional Rift, it would be able to reach the Gravel Spirit Acceptance's limits. Moreover, the Level 2 Horn Demon that the Gravel Acceptance had was a very comprehensive unit. It had the strength of a silver pinnacle. However, to Lin Yuan, it was still somewhat tasteless and a pity to discard. There were countless dimensional life-form corpses in the leaf-shaped Fey storage box. Just as Lin Yuan was searching, he suddenly discovered a dimensional life form that he had seen with his own eyes. This dimensional creature was a Class 3 alien insect, heart-penetrating iron line. The endurance of the source sand's exclusive skill, Gravel Spirit Acceptance, was determined by the energy contained in the target's body and the complexity of the genetic model. If there was a dimensional creature with the simplest genetic model, it would undoubtedly be the heart-penetrating iron line. The threaded iron wire was able to become a Class 3 alien insect with such a simple genetic model. Apart from its extremely powerful concealment ability, it also had a terrifying penetrative ability. The sea of sand formed by Lin Yuan's source sand was enough for the heart-penetrating iron line to hide. Every patch of yellow sand was the best place to hide. The heart-penetrating iron line could assassinate targets in the sea of sand like an invisible assassin. However, in his heart, the best way to use the heart-penetrating iron line was to use quicksand to sink the target into the sea of sand. When the target struggled in the sea of sand and was ready to break free, the heart-penetrating iron line could find an opportunity to pierce through the heart and complete the kill. In fact, when the chain swords formed a cage to sink the target into the ground, the heart-penetrating iron line could also give a fatal blow. As an invisible assassin hiding under the sea of sand, the heart-penetrating iron line could take lives but not reveal itself. Lin Yuan first picked out a heart-penetrating iron line that was equivalent to a gold eye normal Fey from the leaf-shaped diamond Fey storage box. He let the source sand use its exclusive skill, Gravel Spirit Acceptance, to devour this heart-penetrating iron line that was equivalent to a gold eye normal Fey. Lin Yuan realized that this gold eye/normal heart-penetrating iron line did not reach the limit of the source sand's exclusive skill, Gravel Spirit Acceptance. After some experimentation, Lin Yuan found that the source sand's Bronze X/Fantasy Eye strength could only accept heart-penetrating iron line's limit. The gravel spirit acceptance heart-penetrating iron line's limit was to accept a heart-penetrating iron line that was equivalent to a gold 3/elite Fey. Lin Yuan could not help but lament that the Class 3 heart-penetrating iron lines template was simply too simple. However, this simple heart-penetrating iron line template was really useful. After the Source Sand's exclusive skill, Gravel Spirit Acceptance, the heart-penetrating iron line could also be replaced. However, the Source Sand had already fallen into a dormant state. It was condensing the chain swords from Metal Consume Manifestation and the Gravel Spirit Acceptance of the heart-penetrating iron line that was equivalent to a gold 3/elite Fey. The Source Sand had to reassemble the heart-penetrating iron line in the form of sand, so this process required the Source Sand to sleep deeply for a few hours. At this moment, the Source-type Source Sand finally revealed its current strength at its peak. Fey name, Source Sand, Amber Button, Fey Species, Elemental/Sand, Fey Grade, Bronze X, Fey Type, Source, Fey Quality, Fantasy I Exclusive Skill Frowny Face Sand Control, increases the contractor's control over the Source Sand and reduces the consumption of spiritual power when controlling the sand. Metal Consume Manifestation, can devour a type of metal into the Source Sand, allowing it to have the characteristics of devouring metal. At the same time, it can quickly condense the metal in the gravel and turn it into a specified form. Ferromanganese Chain Sword, Gravel Spirit Acceptance, the Source Sand can devour a Fey or dimensional life form. The amount of devouring depends on the life form's energy and the complexity of the template. Level 3 Alien Insect, Heart-Piercing Iron Line. Without Morbius Spirit Energy Condensation, which could condense spirit energy crystals, he would not have been able to do so. He would probably have to enter seclusion for another month to raise the Source Sand strength from Bronze X/Fantasy Breed to Silver/Fantasy Breed. However, with Morbius Spirit Energy Condensation, he could condense spirit energy crystals. There was no need for him to waste this month. It was now the most precious period for him to improve his strength. During this period, the most important thing for him was to quickly increase his Spirit Chi professional rank while improving his combat skills. Then, he would try to get into the Radiance 100 sequence this year. With Morbius Spiritual Energy Condensation condensed into a Spiritual Energy Crystal, the Source Sand strength could increase from Bronze level 10 to Silver level with just one. There were still 2 more days before the first Spiritual Energy Crystal would be formed. Lin Yuan exited the Spirit Lock spatial zone and took a good bath before leaving the room to have a sumptuous dinner with Wen Yu and Lu Jia. After dinner, the trio chatted for a while and then played the Radiance Federation's currently very popular Fey Battle Chess. While Lin Yuan had been in seclusion for the past few days, Wen Yu and Lu Jia had been desperately improving their strength. Wen Yu was improving her ability as a creation master, hoping to be of better help to Lin Yuan. Lu Jia had let the Insect Queen devour the Source-type Hurricane Owlet Moth and inscribe a template to produce a platinum ability. During these 5 days, after the Insect Queen's platinum ability was completed, Lu Jia had arranged to spar with Bai Hao on Star Web to perfect his Insect Queen's tactical arrangement after obtaining a new ability. Lu Jia was not like other Spirit Chi professionals who only needed to control a few Feys. Lu Jia's combat method was completely like a commander commanding an insect swarm composed of 5 types of insects. Therefore, his tactical arrangement had to be very meticulous. Lu Jia also hoped that he could become stronger so that he could better protect this youth in front of him. It was late at night. These few days of seclusion had kept Lin Yuan's spirit in a tense state during the process of enhancing the Source Sand. Therefore, he really needed to have a good sleep to recover his spirit. However, Lin Yuan was not in a hurry to rest. Instead, he logged into Star Web. He was ready to fight his second Celestial Stairway promotion duel. He wanted to read the latest chapter of Beast Evolution Merchant Claw Bookhouse for free. Chapter 225. After Lin Yuan used his identity as Black to log onto the star web, he suddenly recalled that it had been 8 days since he had used a large batch of completely jade-made red sandalwood to customize the red sandalwood fish tank. According to the previous agreement, the Class 4 spirit craftsman would use the address he had left behind 2 days later. He brought over the red sandalwood fish tank that was completely made of jade-made red sandalwood. The spirit pool in Lin Yuan's spirit lock spatial zone was only close to 20 square meters, and it wasn't considered huge. The 3 dragon phoenix landscape carps, which were 1 meter long, had 1 meter long tail fins, and had nearly 1 meter wide spread fins, were being raised in the spirit pool in the spirit lock spatial zone. It had already affected the large batch of elite 5 fortune ranches that Lin Yuan was nurturing. Furthermore, the spirit gather goldfish, Blackie, was usually more lively and active. It would always cause trouble for the 3 dragon phoenix landscape carps, causing chaos in the spirit pool. For fays that had awakened the dragon species bloodline, their territorial awareness had always been very strong. If it wasn't for the fact that these 3 dragon phoenix landscape carps were naturally auspicious and would make natural creatures instinctively get close to them. At the same time, Blackie also knew that Lin Yuan had personally placed the 3 dragon phoenix landscape carps in the spirit pool. Perhaps the spirit gather goldfish, Blackie, had already launched an attack on the 3 bronze X/epic dragon phoenix landscape carps. The spirit gather goldfish might not be a match for these 3 bronze X/epic dragon phoenix landscape carps. After all, there was a huge difference in size. Furthermore, Blackie was a support-type Fae and did not possess any combat ability. However, such territorial awareness was a kind of dignity that was engraved in the bones of dragon species Faes, and they could use their lives to defend it. During this period of time, Lin Yuan had been comforting Blackie. However, when the red sandalwood fish tank, which was made of completely jade-made red sandalwood, was delivered, these 3 dragon phoenix landscape carps could then leave the spirit pool and be kept in the red sandalwood fish tank in the mansion. At that time, the dragon phoenix landscape carps, as a superior auspicious sign, would be able to comprehend the exclusive skill, place of life, which would protect the manor's plants from withering and the water from freezing. It allowed everything in the manor to grow in the most comfortable environment and stay away from diseases. Lin Yuan had already arrived at the Star Web Tower and was preparing to participate in the second promotion duel when he saw over a dozen unread messages in his personal message column. Since Black's identity had been set to reject all messages, he naturally would not receive messages from any strangers. Tian Ningning was the only one on Black's friend list. In other words, these dozens of messages were all sent by Tian Ningning alone. At that moment, Lin Yuan suddenly recalled the Star Web reporter, Tian Ningning, who had been contacting him previously. It was not that Lin Yuan had completely forgotten about Tian Ningning, but the 5 days of seclusion had left him with no time to think about anything else. He had originally planned to look for Tian Ningning after the second promotion duel. But now that he saw that Tian Ningning had sent him so many messages, he opened the information bar and checked the messages that she had sent him. At the very beginning, Tian Ningning had sent him a battle record. After that, almost every day, Tian Ningning would leave a message asking if he was there or what he thought of the battle record. From Tian Ningning's attitude, Lin Yuan could feel that she really wanted to be his exclusive reporter. Lin Yuan clicked on the battle record that Tian Ningning had sent him and read it carefully. This battle record was not considered long, but Lin Yuan read it carefully for a few minutes. Tian Ningning's battle record was actually much plainer than the battle records of the other Star Web reporters, which had been specially polished. However, Tian Ningning's battle record was more objective and realistic compared to the battle records written by the other Star Web reporters. Tian Ningning was really standing on Black's side and used the way of stating the facts to record the battle. Moreover, Tian Ningning's analysis of the battle in several places made Lin Yuan rather amazed. Tian Ningning was able to ingeniously point out the areas where Lin Yuan felt that he had grown and comprehended in this battle. It was obvious that Tian Ningning had a certain understanding of the battle between spirit chi professionals. Tian Ningning had also grasped the details of the battle very accurately. She had memorized almost every detail of the battle without missing a single detail. Lin Yuan admired Tian Ningning's realistic recording style very much. Lin Yuan replied below. Black, your battle record is written well. If you can use such a realistic and objective style to write news about me and do battle records, then you can become my exclusive reporter. I wish us a happy cooperation. Tian Ningning had been very apprehensive when writing the battle record. Especially after sending the battle record that she had written to Black, that apprehension was even more intense. Since Tian Ningning had not received Black's reply, she had been in a very disappointed mood for the past few days. This opportunity was something that Tian Ningning had painstakingly begged for. She could not help but blame herself for choosing to write the battle record in such a realistic way and wasting the opportunity that she had painstakingly asked for. But at the same time, Tian Ningning felt a sense of relief in her heart. This was because this real battle mechanism was considered to have given her an explanation. When Tian Ningning had used such a realistic style to write the battle report, she had wanted to give herself psychological comfort. As a star web columnist, Tian Ningning had always had her own insistence. Black's image of a young hero who had defended Millstone Town from the invasion of the insect tide and turned the tide had always appeared in Tian Ningning's mind. Tian Ningning could not bear to tarnish that heroic feat with a false style. Even though she was thinking like this, Tian Ningning had been feeling uneasy for the past few days. She had been wondering why she had not received a reply from Black. In fact, Tian Ningning had to look at the star web streak ranking several times a day to see if there were any changes to Black's number of matches at the top. For the past few days, Tian Ningning had not been able to do anything and had been immersed in star web. During these 5 days, Tian Ningning looked much more haggard than 5 days ago. At that moment, Tian Ningning suddenly realized that Black, who had been missing for the past few days, had actually replied to her message. Upon seeing Black's message, Tian Ningning quickly rubbed her eyes, afraid that she was seeing things. She had been looking forward to it when there had been no message, but now that she knew that Black had replied to her, Tian Ningning really did not have the courage to open Black's message. Tian Ningning was afraid that she would see Black's rejection. When Tian Ningning mustered up her courage and opened Black's message made Tian Ningning's nose sour, and her eyes suddenly became moist. Black agreed to let me be his exclusive reporter. This thought resonated in Tian Ningning's mind. Becoming Black's exclusive reporter made Tian Ningning very excited, but what touched her even more was that she had obtained Black's approval by using a true style to write the battle record. At the same time, the radiant image of the silver-masked, black-clothed, and resolute youth in her heart became more realistic and vivid. Tian Ningning looked at Black's message for a long time before replying with 2 words with a trembling voice. Tian Ningning, thank you. At that moment, Lin Yuan had already started the matchmaking for the second Celestial Stairway promotion duel. The instant Lin Yuan chose the matchmaking, he did not have to wait and was immediately matched with an opponent. The Celestial Stairway promotion duels were like a watershed that divided the Star Tower duelists into upper and lower groups. The difficulty of the Celestial Stairway promotion duels also determined the number of duelists who were stuck in the promotion duels. Even if there were people who managed to climb the stairway through luck, due to the rules of the Star Tower, they would have to fight at least once in a while. It was precisely because of this rule that those who were not strong enough to climb the stairway to heaven would fall from the stairway to heaven. When he had climbed the tower previously, most of the duelists he had been matched with were men. But this time, Lin Yuan was matched with a female spirit chi professional. The female spirit chi professional, who was standing opposite Lin Yuan, was about to say something to the air when she saw Lin Yuan, and she was startled. After carefully checking Lin Yuan's battle record, the female spirit chi professional gritted her teeth and said, "That's right. You're black. Tell me, do you know the moderator of your Tieba forum and the moderator of your official fan group, that son of a bitch called Zuan?" Baituan immediately read the latest chapter of Beast Evolution Merchant Claw Book House for free. Chapter 226. Just as Lin Yuan was fighting Poison Beauty on Star Web as Black, Poison Beauty suddenly appeared. Black's current deeds were so legendary and so popular. Naturally, a portion of the viewers in Poison Beauty's live streaming room were fans of her and also fans of Black. Therefore, the duel between Poison Beauty and Black was spread. At that moment, a large number of viewers crazily poured into Poison Beauty's live streaming room, and it became really lively. Cold Wind, I'm here to cheer for my male god, Black. Poison Beauty, this auntie, kept on talking about something. If you want to fight, hurry up and fight. Wandering Soul, Little Sister Poison's acting skills are getting better and better. It's simply art. If Little Sister Poison didn't do it every time she was matched with an opponent, would have almost believed it. I have a story you prepare wine, Auntie Poison is about to die from anger from Black. He's really a straight man, and his words are so ridiculous. What do I want? Poison Beauty is a support-type spirit chi professional. The people behind the fog should have already started their battle formation. I'm really worried for Black. I wonder if he knows. Are you stupid? The commenter above is obviously an old viewer of Old Lady Poison. You even know the tricks so well. At that moment, Long Tao was leading the Dragon Gate Guild Club's main team members and reserve team members in a coaching battle. After hearing that Black was going to fight in the second round of the Celestial Stairway promotion competition, he was shocked. He pulled the main team and reserve team members to the viewing room to watch Black's second Celestial Stairway promotion duel. They were there to watch Black's second Celestial Stairway promotion duel. Long Tao had not been able to contact Black during this period. Long Tao knew that the Extreme Guild Club's tournament reserve team members knew Black. However, at this stage, everyone was preparing for the tournament. As the captain of the main team of the A-level Dragon Gate Guild Club, Long Tao naturally would not rashly contact the reserve team members of the B-level Guild Club's tournament team. If this was spread as news by someone with ulterior motives, it would probably cause a lot of trouble in this season. Long Tao naturally hoped to be able to contact Black. Regardless of whether he succeeded or not, he would at least have a face-to-face talk first. Black's second Celestial Stairway promotion duel was equivalent to an observation of Black for Long Tao. This would allow Long Tao to better understand Black's strength. Other than wanting to blacklist him for an interview, Long Tao also felt that Black's temperament was inexplicably familiar, as if he had seen it somewhere before. This sense of familiarity made Long Tao unable to figure it out. This made Long Tao very mad. The members of the Dragon Gate Guild Club had been training crazily during this period of time. During these days of boring training, the name they heard the most was Black. Therefore, the members of the Dragon Gate Guild Club had a deep impression of Black and were very curious about him. Needless to say, Cheng Hongfeng was defeated by Black in the last Celestial Stairway promotion competition. Chen Hongfeng couldn't accept it no matter how he thought about it. If he had known that Black had a fey like the blue flash purple butterfly, he wouldn't have been unable to take precautions in advance and let the huge-tailed swamp lizard be firmly controlled by the blue flash purple butterfly. Therefore, Cheng Hongfeng was very concerned about Black's second Celestial Stairway promotion duel. He wanted to see if he had lost unjustly. Chen Hongfeng knew that compared to Poison Beauty's strength, he was not as powerful as her. He might even be exhausted to death by Poison Beauty after fighting for 20 minutes. However, Cheng Hongfeng felt that he was 7 or 8 years younger than her. Sometimes, youth was capital. Cheng Hongfeng was also confident that when he was the same age as Poison Beauty, he could leave her behind by 7 or 8 streets. After playing the Fei Battle Flag game with Lu Jia and Wen Yu, he returned to his room and did not choose to sleep. Instead, he logged onto Star Web. It was the same for Lu Jia. Lu Jia was about to log onto Star Web and call Bai Hao for sparring. After a few days of sparring, Lu Jia had become more proficient in his Insect Queen's combat system. However, when Lu Jia looked for Bai Hao this time, Bai Hao replied with a message. "Ranger Bai Hao, wait for me for a while. I'm going to watch a live broadcast." When Lu Jia saw Bai Hao's message, he could not help but be a little speechless. Heart of Insect Swarm Lu Jia, it's that face-blocking live streamer called Sparrow Voice Lowly Goddess again? Ranger Bai Hao, don't insult the Sparrow Voice Lowly Goddess. What's wrong with face blocking? Sparrow Voice Lowly Goddess hopes that we can pay more attention to her singing voice and not her appearance. This shows that she's not a superficial person but a person with great connotation and poetic charm. Lu Jia was a little speechless. What did I say? I didn't say anything. Brainless fans are really scary. Heart of Insect Swarm Lu Jia, what other live streamers are you going to watch if not the Sparrow Voice Lowly Goddess? Come and train. Ranger Bai Hao, I'm going to watch Black's battle live broadcast. Black's bird phase cry is very pleasant to listen to. It makes me feel like I'm listening to the Sparrow Voice Lowly Goddess sing. Since the Sparrow Voice Lowly Goddess isn't live streaming, I'm going to listen to the bird phase cry as a way to miss the Sparrow Voice Lowly Goddess. At that moment, Lu Jia felt that brainless fans were not scary. A brainless fan called Bai Hao was scary. Lu Jia was used to big storms, so his curiosity was not that strong. He had heard of Black's recent appearance. Many people compared Black's heroic deeds in Millstone Town with his heroic deeds. Lu Jia did not know what Black had done in Millstone Town, but he knew that it was not so easy to be a hero. This was because the moment one decided to be a hero, one should already have the awareness of sacrificing for radiance. In Lu Jia's opinion, Black might have been the same at that time. Since Bai Hao had gone to watch Black's live streaming, Lu Jia thought that he might as well go and take a look too. He asked Bai Hao to send him a link to Black's live streaming room. Lu Jia clicked on the link sent by Bai Hao. When the Radiance 100 sequence members entered the Star Web live streaming room, there would be a special reminder. If Lu Jia wanted to return to the Radiance 100 sequence, he would need to pass the Radiance Federation's internal special assessment this year and participate in the Radiance 100 sequences ranking. Before the Radiance 100 sequences ranking really started, Lu Jia could fight for a sequence in the Radiance 100 according to his strength. This was the privilege that the Radiance Federation had given Lu Jia as a hero who had retired due to serious injuries and had now returned to the Radiance 100 sequence. However, since Lu Jia was still not a Radiance 100 sequence member, there was no special reminder for him to enter Poison Beauty's live streaming room. However, it was different for Patroller Bai Hao, who was Radiance 100 sequence number 87. As soon as Bai Hao entered Poison Beauty's live streaming room, he immediately attracted the attention of countless people. The topic of the live streaming room shifted from the duel between Poison Beauty and Black to Patroller Bai Hao, who was Radiance 100 sequence number 87. Countless people sent their regards to Bai Hao. The bullet screen was filled with rows of "Good evening, Lord Patroller." This was enough to show the Radiance 100 sequence's status and prestige in the Radiance Federation. However, Lu Jia did not seem to care about all of this at all. At that moment, Lu Jia's eyes were filled with the azure blue bird flying above the silver-masked youth. The moment the azure bird entered Lu Jia's line of sight, Lu Jia's eyes lit up. Lu Jia was completely dumbstruck by what he saw. This was because he was simply too familiar with this azure blue bird. Baiduan read the latest chapter of the Imperial Beast Evolution Merchant Claw Book House for free. Chapter 227. Wasn't this azure blue bird the silver/fantasy breed fey that Lin Yuan had contracted? Lu Jia was already very familiar with Chime during this period of time. Due to Lin Yuan's close relationship with Lu Jia, Chime had seen it. Therefore, Chime was also relatively close to Lu Jia and would occasionally eat the usnea leaves that Lu Jia fed it. Now, Lu Jia actually saw Chime in Black's Celestial Stairway promotion duel. Black's identity was self-evident. Ever since Lu Jia became Lin Yuan's retainer, he knew that Lin Yuan always had his own standards and persistence in doing things. He had his own understanding and views of things. He was also very hardworking. To Lu Jia, Lin Yuan had always been like a cloud of fog that he could not see through. At first, Lu Jia only knew that Lin Yuan was a Class 2 creation master. However, the more he interacted with Lin Yuan, the more Lu Jia felt that he should understand Lin Yuan, and the more he felt that Lin Yuan was more mysterious. Until now, Lu Jia unexpectedly learned another layer of Lin Yuan's identity. Lin Yuan's other identity was the Radiance Federation's newly rising young hero, Black. Lu Jia remembered that he could always hear people comparing Black's deeds with his own. Lu Jia instinctively had a good impression of Black. Perhaps this was like the recognition between people with the same beliefs. However, Lu Jia did not expect that the people he was loyal to were both Lin Yuan and Black. Lu Jia thought of the bits and pieces he had gotten along with Lin Yuan. Such a youth had made the same choice as him when in danger. Lu Jia looked at Lin Yuan and the support-type spirit chi professional called Poison Beauty and could not help but be a little anxious. Given Lu Jia's combat experience, he naturally saw at a glance that Poison Beauty was stalling for time and wanted her support-type Fei to spend time to lay out an attack. Therefore, Lu Jia was a little worried about Lin Yuan now, afraid that he would lose this Celestial Stairway promotion duel because he had given Poison Beauty a lot of time to prepare. Lu Jia knew that Lin Yuan had Chime, a silver/fantasy breed Fei. However, he never knew how strong Lin Yuan was as a combat class spirit chi professional. In fact, when Poison Beauty had stood up from the ground, her 4 contracted Feis had already taken up their positions. Poison Beauty had been thinking of ways to talk to Black. On one hand, it was for the program effect. On the other hand, he was forcefully suppressing the excitement in his heart. As a streamer who had been stuck in the Celestial Stairway promotion duels in the Star Tower, it was naturally impossible for Poison Beauty to not know about the popularity caused by the duel between Chen Hongfeng and Black. The popularity had increased the number of viewers in Chen Hongfeng's live streaming channel by more than 10 times. Chen Hongfeng's explosive popularity really made Poison Beauty envious. Poison Beauty had been fantasizing about how great it would be if she could meet Black in the Celestial Stairway promotion competition. During the duel between Black and Chen Hongfeng, Poison Beauty had carefully studied Black's combat power. The final conclusion made Poison Beauty very jealous of this Radiance Dollar warrior. In Poison Beauty's opinion, although Black's strength was not bad, its true strength mostly came from the Fei's extremely high quality and species. Poison Beauty felt that if she fought against Black, based on the strength that Black and Chen Hongfeng had displayed, she would have a 100% chance of winning. Poison Beauty did not expect that she would be so lucky to encounter Black today when she matched the Star Web Celestial Stairway promotion duels as usual. Poison Beauty could already foresee that there would be 10 times more viewers in her live streaming channel than before. Poison Beauty was now wholeheartedly thinking of defeating Black in a gorgeous manner in the duel. Poison Beauty believed that as long as she could defeat Black, she would be able to become a popular Star Web duel streamer with absolute topicality and popularity. Upon hearing Black's subconscious words, Poison Beauty was infuriated. However, Poison Beauty did not show it. Instead, she stood there with a concave posture that looked very domineering at first glance but very comical at a closer look. Black, your undefeatable legend will be magnificently ended by me, Poison Beauty, today. Lin Yuan felt that he really could not understand this old woman called Poison Beauty. How can a person be so delusional? I've only obtained some consecutive victories in the Star Tower duels. How am I an undefeatable legend? Moreover, what the hell is a magnificently ending? Doesn't this big sister know how ugly her contracted phase are? At that moment, Lin Yuan ignored Poison Beauty. Instead, he was using true data and the mask that Genius had transformed into to spy on the 4 phase that Poison Beauty had summoned. Fey name, Illusory Mist Jackdaw, Fey species, Feathered Crow/Raven, Fey grade, Gold, 910, Fey type, Water/Poison, Fey quality, elite abilities Frowny Face Crow Cry, emits a violent cry that can cause the target to fall into a manic and annoyed mood. Turbid Fog, releases thin fog that contains a lot of water vapor with hallucinogenic effects. Inhaling the water vapor with hallucinogenic effects will cause the target to be in a state of confusion. Life-corroding Cold Fog, the extremely cold fog will gradually slow down the target's movements and accelerate the loss of the target's energy in the cold fog. Boiling Poisonous Fog, releases a kind of fog that will not cause any harm to a healthy target when inhaled into the body. However, if there is a wound on the target's body, the boiling poisonous fog will quickly draw the target's vitality into the fog. Exclusive skill Frowny Face Illusory Fog, causes the fog to become extremely white and can perfectly isolate the target's line of sight in the fog. The target's visibility in the fog will reach the lowest level. Fey name, Poison Weaving Dark Spider, Fey species, Ornithity/Crown Spider, Fey grade, Gold, 710, Fey type, Poison, Fey quality, flawless abilities Frowny Face Spider Silk Spray, shoots an extremely sticky spider silk at the target. The sticky spider silk will adhere to the target's body surface. Poisonous Spider Web, the poisonous web that is shot out is not poisonous, but if there is poison in the air, the spider web will quickly absorb the poison on the poisonous web. At the same time, the poison in the air will be purified and attached to the spider web. Misty Spider Web, can spread the unformed spider web in the silk sac into the air and form a misty spider web. The misty spider web can exist in the air for a short period of time. Weaving Web Attachment, after the misty spider web comes into contact with the poison, it will rapidly absorb the poison's energy and form a complete poisonous spider web. Exclusive skill Frowny Face Spider Web Attraction, the sticky spider silk will have a natural attraction to the poisonous spider web. After the poisonous spider web is formed, it will automatically cover the sticky spider silk. After seeing Poison Beauty's 2 contracted gold phase true data, Venom Beauty's eyes widened. Lin Yuan immediately knew Poison Beauty's combat style as a support-type Spirit Chi professional. Poison Beauty was really a Spirit Chi professional who had chosen her phase for the Star Tower duel. Poison Beauty's contracted phase weren't suitable for solo combat in the wild. Similarly, Poison Beauty's contracted phase were also extremely unsuitable for teaming up with others. If a combat-class Spirit Chi professional took things too hard and teamed up with Poison Beauty, they would probably be affected by her Fey and get poisoned before the battle even started just by staying near her contracted Fey. In addition to the 2 gold Feys, Poison Beauty also had 2 silver Feys. These 2 silver Feys were Silver X/Elite. One of them was a Silver X/Elite Carrion Umbrella Mushroom. Silver X/Elite Carrion Umbrella Mushrooms can release a large number of fungi into the air that accelerate the decay of wounds and toxins that cause healthy skin to rot and bleed. When these fungi and toxins are used, they will directly cover the air. Except for Poison Beauty, the contractor herself. Other lifeforms, even the other contracted phase, will also be affected by the Carrion Umbrella Mushroom's poisonous gas within the range of the poisonous gas. Read the latest chapter of Beast Evolution Merchant Claw Book House for free. Chapter 228. Fortunately, Poison Beauty's phase were poison type, so the Carrion Umbrella Mushroom had little effect on her other phase. Poison Beauty's fourth Fae was also her second Silver Fae. It was a Silver X/Elite Tainted Toad. The Tainted Toad was an Earth-type Fae, and it could contaminate a small area of land, causing the soil to be poisoned. If a Fae stepped on it, it would instantly be poisoned. Bodies that came into contact with the contaminated soil would fester and bleed. In fact, this Silver X/Elite Tainted Toad's land contamination was also considered a kind of defense against land Faes. He had already seen through Poison Beauty's talent. She was a spirit chi professional with an affinity for support-type poison-type Faes. This talent was very strong, but Poison Beauty's choice of contracted Faes and fighting style made Lin Yuan feel that she was a little unconventional and had gone astray. This was really letting down Poison Beauty's rare talent. After all, it was impossible for a spirit chi professional to just be a star tower duelist. The milk-like mist the Gold 9/Elite Illusory Mist Jackdaw spat out should be mixed with turbid mist, life-corroding cold poison, and boiling poison mist, which were three kinds of poisonous gases produced by the three skills. Turbid mist, life-corroding cold poison, and seething poison mist. These three skills produced three types of poisonous gases, and when combined with the Illusory Mist Jackdaw's exclusive skill, Illusion Mist, it produced an excellent control and weakening effect. There were many types of control. For example, the Gold 9/Elite Illusory Mist Jackdaw's control effect was to control vision through thick fog. The Gold 9/Elite Illusory Mist Jackdaw's gold ability, Seething Poison Mist, could also be used with two Silver Faes. Whether it was the Silver X/Elite Carrion Parasol Mushroom or the Silver X/Elite Tainted Toad skills, they would cause the target's body to rot and damage its surface. When the surface of the target's body was damaged, the boiling poisonous mist could quickly extract the target's life force from the target's body into the mist. At the same time, whether it was the Gold 9/Elite Illusory Mist Jackdaw or the two Silver X/Elite Carrion Parasol Mushroom and Tainted Toad, they could all be used with the Gold 7/Flawless Poison Weaving Dark Spider. These toxins overflowed in the air and were matched with the Poison Weaving Dark Spider's silver abilities, Atomizing Spider Web and Gold Web Attachment. They allowed the unformed spider web in the poison-weaving dark spider's silk sacs to absorb the poisonous gas in the air without restriction. They allowed the spider webs in the poison-weaving dark spider's silk sacs to absorb the poisonous gas in the air without restriction. This combination allowed the Gold 7/Flawless Poison-Weaving Dark Spider to possess an extremely powerful crowd control ability. This combination allowed the poison-weaving dark spider to transform the spider's group control into, and to transform the spider's silk spray and mist spider web spider exclusive ability. The Gold 7/Flawless Poison-Weaving Dark Spider's basic skill, Spider Silk Spray, and exclusive skill, Spider Web Attraction, allowed the Gold 7/Flawless Poison-Weaving Dark Spider to transform its crowd control into a powerful single-target control. Lin Yuan had to admit that with Poison Beauty's strength, she was indeed qualified to stir up trouble in the Celestial Stairway promotion duel. After understanding Poison Beauty's contracted phase, Lin Yuan already had a plan in his heart for this duel. Red Thorn and the Acid Corrosion Queen Bee would not be of much use to Lin Yuan in this duel. Red Thorn's current level was still too low, so it could only play a controlling role in the tower duel. The duel in the Star Tower was not like under the dimensional rift in the real world, where there was so much flesh energy for Red Thorn to unscrupulously produce a sea of flowers. When Poison Beauty had set up the field behind the fog, Lin Yuan had seen through Genius Mask that she should not be a C-rank spirit chi professional. Instead, she was a B-rank spirit chi professional. Otherwise, behind this fog, the range of Poison Beauty's Fae would not be so large. Therefore, if Lin Yuan used Red Thorn to produce a sea of flowers to compete with Poison Beauty, he would be the one to be exhausted. Moreover, if the Acid Corrosion Queen Bee did not hide in the flowers produced by Red Thorn, it would not be able to achieve that kind of covert assassination effect. In addition, with the gold 7/flawless web-weaving dark spider and the poison scattered in half of the field, it could absorb enough energy from the poison to produce a poisonous spider web. These obstacles would have a great impact on the acid corrosion queen bee's assassination. Therefore, Lin Yuan only had one way to go now. Poison Beauty tried to strike a pose for a long time and said a few harsh words, but she found that Black was still indifferent and didn't pay attention to her. Poison Beauty immediately became embarrassed. Poison Beauty considered herself a good actress, but no matter how good her acting skills were, it would be useless if the opponent did not act with her. In this way, Poison Beauty was like a drama queen, singing a one-man show. Poison Beauty rolled her eyes and said, "Black, do you know you're really weak? Black, do you know you're really weak?" In fact, as early as when Poison Beauty had provoked Black, her live streaming room had already exploded. This was because most of the people who flocked to her live streaming room were Black's fans. Poison Beauty publicly said that the haters were very weak and kept provoking the haters. This naturally caused the haters' fans to be extremely dissatisfied. Poison Beauty also understood that her provocation towards Black would cause such a situation. However, this could indeed bring about a lot of popularity. As a star web streamer, Poison Beauty had been criticized a lot for being stuck in the Celestial Stairway promotion duels. In Poison Beauty's opinion, Black and Red was also a type of red. To Poison Beauty, only by becoming famous would she be able to save a large sum of Radiance dollars as soon as possible and upgrade her gold 7/flawless poison weaving dark spider to epic. When Lin Yuan heard that, he raised his brows. Since Poison Beauty always wanted to mess with his mentality, then he would follow her wishes. However, Lin Yuan felt that the one who was going to be fooled was not him but Poison Beauty. Poison Beauty was worried that Black would not take the move, but Black's sudden words made Poison Beauty feel relieved. However, after Poison Beauty heard what Black said, she immediately shut herself off. After a short period of isolation, she exploded. Poison Beauty heard Black say faintly, "There shouldn't be any team that wants you, right?" This sentence was like a sharp knife stabbing into the eternal pain in Poison Beauty's heart. With a cold face, Poison Beauty hid in the fog and said, "In 20 minutes, you'll fall off the star web streak list." Lin Yuan did not expect that when he had just started messing with Poison Beauty's mentality, she would explode. He still had a lot of things to say, but it seemed like he would not have the chance to say them. "Don't worry. Even if I lose, the first place on the streak list will still be mine. Unless you can win 102 matches in a row and push me down." Suddenly, Lin Yuan heard a faint sound of teeth chattering. He could not help but think to himself, "Don't worry. Even if I lose, the first place on the streak list will still be mine, unless you can win 102 matches in a row and push me down." With such a long distance between them, just how angry was Poison Beauty for her to grit her teeth so hard? Poison Beauty actually wanted to play a mentality battle with such a mentality. Poison Beauty's angry voice came from the fog. "Black, the poison and the spider web will let you know what torture is in a while." Lin Yuan glanced at Chimey, which was flying in the air. The moment Lin Yuan's eyes behind the mask collided with Chimey's eyes, the man and bird's eyes instantly became firm. Lin Yuan said loudly, "There's no need for that. There's no need for a while. Een, clear up." Chimey flapped its wings and let out a clear cry in the sky. The clear cry was crisp and pleasant, giving Baihao goosebumps in Poison Beauty's live streaming room. After Chimey's clear cry, it was as though a rising sun had appeared in the sky. The scorching sun roasted the milk-like poisonous fog, instantly evaporating the milk-like poisonous fog. Chimey's exclusive skill, Clear Up, directly restrained the poisonous fog released by the Gold 9/Elite Illusory Mist Jackdaw. The Illusory Mist Jackdaw was a poison water-type fae. The fog contained a lot of water, which was completely evaporated by the scorching sun. However, the poison in the air was still there, but it had weakened a lot with the extraction of the water elements. After Chimey used Clear Up, Lin Yuan shouted into the air. Chimey, radiant body. At that moment, Lin Yuan left only 1/10 of his spiritual power and gave the rest to Chimey. It helped Chimey's radiant body absorb sunlight and accumulate energy. The sun in the sky that appeared due to the exclusive skill, Clear Sky, fused with Chimey's petite azure blue body. Chimey's azure body absorbed the golden sunlight, and all of its feathers instantly turned a faint golden color when the sunlight fused into its body. The faint golden radiance was even more dazzling than the sun. The cloud patterns on Chimey's body immediately produced misty clouds, and the stars in the clouds shone. As sunlight was constantly absorbed into Chimey's body, the stars in the clouds converged into a radiant sun. Chimey's body instantly ignited with a glazed flame that was like the sun's radiance. Chimey's body also soared to a meter long under the spread of the flame. At that moment, Chimey was like a magnificent divine bird that had always carried the sun's will. At that moment, Chimey's light wings flapped, ignoring all obstacles, and it crashed straight toward Poison Beauty. Baidu read the latest chapter of the Imperial Beast Evolution Merchant Claw Book House for free. Chapter 229. Chimey, whose body was burning with a glazed flame that resembled a clear radiance, was like a divine bird that was infused with boundless light. It only took a moment for Chimey to change from an azure bird to its current state. It was so fast that Poison Beauty could not react at all and could not command her contracted fae. While Poison Beauty was in a daze, the Gold 7/Flawless Poison Weaving Dark Spider had already instinctively used its silver ability, Atomized Spider Web, and Gold ability, Weaving Web Attachment, to produce highly toxic spider webs to protect its contractor. It wanted to use these poisonous spider webs to stop Chimey's momentum. However, the temperature of the glass-like flame on Chimey's body was simply too high. In addition, Chimey was constantly releasing scattered light as it flew over. The scorching chaotic light combined with the glazed flame on Chimey's body burned the poisonous spiderwebs to ashes when they were 10 meters away from Chimey. The Silver X/Elite Carrion Umbrella Mushroom was desperately releasing fungus and toxins into the air. However, before any toxins could get close to Chimey, they were burned into nothingness by the glass-like flame. As a duelist who had experienced 1,000 star web duels, Poison Beauty had recovered from her momentary absent-mindedness. 3 words flashed in Poison Beauty's mind. Fantasy breed. This petite azure blue bird fae had not exerted its strength in the previous Celestial Stairway promotion duel. Instead, it had used its body to help Black block the energy beam and died. However, such an azure blue bird was actually a fantasy breed. Poison Beauty was no longer in the mood to think so much. Poison Beauty commanded the Silver X/Elite Tainted Toad beside her, relying on her rich combat awareness. Swallow me and quickly jump away. At this moment, the Silver X/Elite Tainted Toad was burying its limbs deep in the ground, constantly polluting the ground. Now that it heard Poison Beauty's command, the Silver X/Elite Tainted Toad stuck out its tongue and swallowed Poison Beauty. Poison Beauty had already abandoned the Silver X/Elite Tainted Toad. In this duel, she wanted to use this Tainted Toad's body as a meat shield to protect herself. The Tainted Toad was a creature that was very good at jumping. As long as its strong muscles on its hind legs kicked, it would not be a problem to jump dozens of meters away. Poison Beauty believed that as long as the Tainted Toad could jump away, even if she would be seriously injured, she should be able to keep her life. However, just as the Tainted Toad was about to pull its limbs out of the polluted land and jump to the side, however, the Tainted Toad found that its 4 limbs were firmly locked in the soil, and it couldn't move at all. There was no time for the Tainted Toad and Poison Beauty to think. The Twilight Starbird, Chimey, which was burning with glazed flames, struck the Tainted Toad that had swallowed Poison Beauty. This collision wasn't bloody, because the instant the tainted toad and Chimey came into contact, the tainted toad's body ignited with a glazed flame that was like the clear radiance of the sun. Under this glazed flame, the dirty and ugly tainted toad seemed to be purified and turned into ashes along with Poison Beauty. At this point, Lin Yuan's second celestial stairway promotion duel had ended. He had now reached the top of the celestial stairway and climbed to the top of the star tower. Lin Yuan looked at the place where Poison Beauty and the tainted toad had disappeared and said coldly, breaking all techniques with brute force. Lin Yuan was not saying this to show off his victory. Instead, he wanted to be inspired if Poison Beauty could watch this duel again in the live streaming room. Not only was Poison Beauty's Fey combination not good for a team, but it would also not be accepted by her teammates. At the same time, as a support-type Spirit Chi professional, Poison Beauty's lineup did not have a pillar that could carry the battle. Poison Beauty would have to think about what kind of Fey she would need to fill this pillar. In a combination without a pillar, she would not be able to carry out effective measures in the face of a sudden outbreak and could only endure it. This would make it impossible to exert the strength that she originally had. Poison Beauty's current weakness was the same as the weakness that Lin Yuan had exposed in the previous Celestial Stairway promotion duel. In fact, the mist produced by the Gold 9/Elite Illusory Mist Jackdaw could not be an effective means to protect Poison Beauty. However, before this duel started, Lin Yuan had made up for the lack of defensive ability in the previous duel and erased his shortcomings. When Lin Yuan left the battlefield, Poison Beauty's live streaming room was already in an uproar, and the entire bullet screen was covered with these words. Breaking all techniques with brute force. This sentence perfectly explained how this heroic young man with the silver mask had single-handedly used absolute power to settle the battle in an instant. Occasionally, one or two bullet screens said, "Why are there some flashes of light where Poison Beauty disappeared?" However, such bullet screens were quickly drowned in the countless breaking all techniques with brute force. If Lin Yuan saw this bullet screen, he would definitely smile in his heart. The reflective part of the soil was due to the sand created by the source sand, which had been baked into glass by the glazed light flame on Chimey's body. It was the residual light left by the unsolidified glass reflecting the scattered light in the polluted soil. Patrolman Bai Hao, who was ranked 87th in the Radiance 100 sequence, was staring at Poison Beauty's live streaming room in a daze. Bai Hao suddenly felt a little depressed. I just felt that this azure blue bird's cry was nice. Did it count as cheating on the Sparrow Voice Lowly Goddess? I'm Sparrow Voice Lowly Goddess's #1 fan. How can this happen? With this thought, Bai Hao felt even more guilty. Thus, Bai Hao entered the Sparrow Voice Lowly Goddess's usual live streaming room. Even if the Sparrow Voice Lowly Goddess was not live streaming, Bai Hao still gritted his teeth and rewarded the remaining 5 million Radiance dollars in his star web card to the Sparrow Voice Lowly Goddess. Bai Hao felt comfortable when he saw that he was at the top of the leaderboard and was dozens of streets ahead of the leaderboard. In the Dragon Gate Club's viewing room, Long Tao said to Fong Duo after watching Black's battle. I misjudged last time. This bird species Flying Fei is actually a silver fantasy breed. Fong Duo gulped and nodded with difficulty. Black had already revealed 2 silver/fantasy breed Feis. Regardless of Black's talent or whether these 2 silver/fantasy breeds were source-type lifeforms or Feis. Given Black's current ability level, he could be called the Radiance Federation's true prodigy. Although Black's strength had increased infinitely after this silver/fantasy breed avian Fei exerted its power, Black's strength had increased infinitely. However, he was still quite a distance away from the Radiance 100 sequence. Now, if the Radiance 100 sequence members did not have platinum combat power, they would not even be qualified to enter the game. Of course, it would be different if there were gold/fantasy breed Feis. Long Tao pondered for a moment and said. At present, the members of the guild's main team will be decided like this. If Black joins the team, this year's S tournament's main team will bring him along. If Black doesn't join the team, Little Feng will replace the main team. This year's S tournament will continue to rely on brute force. Based on what Long Tao had said, Chen Hongfeng should be hoping that Black would not join the team no matter what so that he could replace the main team. However, the duel just now had made Chen Hongfeng sincerely convinced of his previous Celestial Stairway promotion duel with Black. Although Chen Hongfeng wanted to join the main team and gallop in the arena. Compared to these, Chen Hongfeng was first and foremost a member of the Dragon Gate Guild Club. Chen Hongfeng knew that if Black could enter the arena, his healing ability would be much more useful to the team than him. As a high-spirited youth, Chen Hongfeng might be utilitarian or jealous of geniuses who were similar to him. However, Chen Hongfeng also had a sense of honor and mission as a member of the Dragon Gate Guild Club. This sense of collective honor and mission made Chen Hongfeng hope that Black could join the main team. This sense of honor and mission might seem very weak, but it was actually hiding a faint radiance firefly. Fang Duo touched his watermelon head and rolled his eyes. "Boss, can you contact Black?" Long Tao shook his head upon hearing this and said, "I'll think of something. You don't have to worry about it." Then, Long Tao continued to speak seriously. "Let's review the fight between Black and Poison Beauty first. I feel that there's something wrong with the ground under Poison Beauty's feet. After reviewing the fight, we won't be training in the training room anymore. There's still more than a month before the start of the S tournament. We'll go to the Class 2-dimensional rift for real training." Bai Duan read the latest chapter of Beast Evolution Merchant Claw Book House for free. Chapter 230. After Bai Hao sent the remaining 5 million radiance dollars in his star web card to the Sparrow Voice Lowly Goddess, he immediately contacted Lu Jie. In the end, he did not expect Lu Jie, who had been urging him to carry out combat training, to actually say that he had something to attend to and log off Star Web. After logging off the Star Web, Lu Jie stood by the window and looked at the night sky as he made a decision. However, now that Lu Jie was Lin Yuan's retainer knight, he had to seek Lin Yuan's opinion on every decision he made. Lu Jie planned to go to the wilderness to train because the most effective way to improve his strength was to truly stand between life and death. It was just like how some people could hear the voice in their hearts and act on it. These people would either become lunatics or legends. It was the same for spirit chi professionals. Only in times of danger would one's potential burst out with the most intense sparks and transform into strength that could be grasped tightly in one's hands. Lu Jie went to bed early that night. Lu Jie, who had fallen asleep early, had a dream. In the dream, she tried her best to become a barrier that could block the danger in front of the young man, but the young man's shadow was getting longer and longer. As a result, his barrier seemed a little too weak. The oppressive feeling in his sleep made him furrow his brows. It was obvious how much he desired to increase his strength. After the second Celestial Stairway promotion duel, he had truly ascended the Celestial Stairway. At that moment, Lin Yuan received a notification from the Star Web officials. At a glance, Lin Yuan knew that due to his consecutive victories on the Celestial Stairway, he had reached the Celestial Stairway's achievement qualification. The Celestial Stairway achievement was a very high honor on the Celestial Stairway. Many Heaven Stairway powerhouses were working hard to break the Heaven Stairway's record, hoping to achieve the Heaven Stairway's achievement. Any record holder of a Celestial Stairway achievement would have a virtual image generated in the Star Tower, standing on the Celestial Stairway achievement altar for the duelists to admire. Lin Yuan could not help but be dumbfounded. He had actually obtained such a Celestial Stairway achievement after his consecutive victories. Lin Yuan's identity card had also changed. Name, Black gender, male height, 178 centimeters weight, 61 kg Star Tower floor, Celestial Stairway 0 star Spirit Chi occupation, Healing type professional occupation level, C contracted Fey, Morbius, Bronze 10/Legend, 1000 Questions Beast, Bronze, Level 1, Legendary, Twilight Starbird, Silver 1, Fantasy Eye, Red Thorn, Bronze 5/Epic, Acid Corrosion Queen Bee, Gold Level 1, Legendary, Source Sand, Bronze 10, Fantasy Eye, Battle Record Sad Face Star Tower, 100 matches, 100 wins, 0 losses. Highest floor of 100, Celestial Stairway Promotion Match, 2 matches, 2 wins, 0 losses, Stairway 0 matches, 0 wins, 0 losses, 0 consecutive wins. 0 highest number of stars. Lin Yuan looked at his brand new identity card and nodded in satisfaction. However, he no longer planned to participate in the Celestial Stairway duels. It was not that he was afraid of encountering a strong opponent on the Celestial Stairway, causing him to lose the duel and fall back to the promotion duel. It was because he felt that honing his techniques and combat awareness in the Star Web Tower was ultimately too shallow. Previously, he had not been strong enough and could not wander around the Radiance Federation's endless land. However, he now felt that he already had such an ability. Lin Yuan had lived 2 lives, and in his previous life, Lin Yuan had experienced the flourishing world of sensual pleasures. In this life, Lin Yuan, who lived in the present, also wanted to go to this great world to see the wonders of this world, as well as good and evil. Lin Yuan checked Tian Ningning's message again and simply asked her to sign the exclusive reporter contract. If Tian Ningning became his exclusive reporter, then all his news and combat records on Star Web would be written by her in the future. As his exclusive reporter, Tian Ningning could only serve him alone. Such a model made Lin Yuan feel that he could indeed save a lot of unnecessary trouble. Lin Yuan sent a message to Tian Ningning and asked her to meet at the Star Web Center on Star Web. The Star Web Center on the Star Web Tower was the same as the Star Web Center in the Imperial capital in the real world. It was just that the Star Web Center on Star Web was more convenient and more efficient. Since Lin Yuan and Tian Ningning had already discussed the conditions, it was very simple to sign the exclusive reporter contract. In the contract, Lin Yuan would still not accept any interviews. At the same time, Tian Ningning also promised to write all the news about Black in a truthful manner, whether it was combat records or news reports. Lin Yuan also needed to make a corresponding promise to Tian Ningning. For example, when some major events happened, Tian Ningning could directly understand the real situation from him. In general, the conditions of the signed contract were completely biased toward Lin Yuan. The main reason was that Tian Ningning had never been in control of the right to speak. Instead, she was doing her best to meet Lin Yuan's requirements. It was not because Tian Ningning deliberately flattered him in order to become Black's exclusive reporter. It was just that she was more willing to believe in this youth who had once been covered in the Radiance Firefly light in Millstone Town. After Lin Yuan logged out of Star Web, he washed up and went to sleep. 5 consecutive days of enhancing the Source-type Source Sand and this Celestial Stairway promotion duel had really exhausted Lin Yuan. There was no one in a room that was decorated in a very stylish and luxurious manner. The window was completely open, and the autumn wind poured into the room through the window, causing the room to be covered with a layer of chill that could immediately make one's hair stand on end. Countless crows with scarlet eyes and black bodies poured in through the window. Finally, these crows gathered together and turned into a middle-aged man with a triangular scar at the corner of his eye. The moment the middle-aged man appeared, he closed the window and then respectfully knelt on the ground. He said respectfully to a golden datura flower that was blooming on the table. Chanter Crow greets Lord 7th Page War. After the middle-aged man with a triangular scar at the corner of his eye finished speaking, the golden datura flower that was blooming on the table suddenly emitted a powerful and austere aura. This kind of desolation contained death, vagrancy, unpredictable darkness, and chaos hidden in the darkness. When the man with the triangular scar at the corner of his eye appeared, he immediately lowered his head even more, and a fine layer of cold sweat appeared on his back. At this moment, a dignified voice that seemed to be filled with pity yet endless mockery could be heard saying this. "What's the matter?" The man with the triangular scar at the corner of his eye did not dare to raise his head at all. He could only lower his head and make his voice more respectful. "Lord 7th Page War, I have placed source-type items that can increase the cracks in the dimensional rifts that have not yet been sealed in the Radiance Federation." At that point, the man with the triangular scar at the corner of his eye paused before carefully saying, "Cheng Wu has been killed." "It's just that Cheng Wu has already been killed. I don't know if Cheng Wu has exposed the plan and if it will affect your next arrangements." All of a sudden, the man with the triangular scar at the corner of his eye felt a pressure coming toward him. The man with the triangular scar at the corner of his eye did not even have the courage to breathe. At that moment, the austere voice that coexisted with pity and ridicule rang out. "Oh. He's been killed." The man with the triangular scar at the corner of his eye hurriedly answered. "He was killed by the Radiance Federation's Moon Empress." After a long time, just when the man with the triangular scar at the corner of his eye felt that his heart was about to reach his throat, the austere voice that coexisted with pity and ridicule slowly rang out. However, this austere voice that coexisted with pity and ridicule seemed to contain deep fear. "The Moon Empress killed him? It's actually the Moon Empress. The Radiance Federation's plan will be immediately slowed down and suspended for now. Lord 7th Page War, what about the plan in the sea? Things in the sea will continue as usual." All of a sudden, the austere voice that coexisted with pity and ridicule became more ruthless. "You're the leader of the Radiance Federation's operation this time, but something went wrong. You've been stuck at Suzerain/Myth 2 for a long time now, right?" The man with the triangular scar at the corner of his eye suddenly turned pale and spoke in a trembling voice. "Yes, Lord 7th Page War." An endless contemptuous laugh bloomed in this austere and ruthless voice. "Heh, if things are done well, as one of the 8 pages and the master of the Tower of War, I can grant you the position of one of the 12 Warden Scholars. However, if you don't do it well, then you're useless. Useless people are destined to become dust under the iron hooves of war." As this austere voice that coexisted with pity and ridicule fell, the pressure completely disappeared. The golden datura flower that was blooming brightly also withered in an instant. The cold sweat on the forehead of the man with the triangular scar at the corner of his eye had already dripped onto the ground. Even though that pressure had completely disappeared, the man with the triangular scar at the corner of his eye was still kneeling on the ground and did not dare to get up until dawn the next day. Baidu, read the latest chapter of the Imperial Beast Evolution Merchant Claw Bookhouse for free. Chapter 231. The next day, when the morning sun shone into the house, the furniture that was completely made of jade-textured wood exuded a soft light. There was a kind of quaint charm circulating in the room. Genius nestled in Lin Yuan's chest and slept soundly. Chimey was nestled in Lin Yuan's neck, and the feathers on its head would rub against Lin Yuan's neck when it moved its little head. This slight commotion made Lin Yuan open his eyes. This kind of wholehearted relaxation could wash away all the fatigue from before, no matter how tired they were before. Lin Yuan carefully placed Genius and Chimey on the pillow. He then shifted the blanket upward so that Genius and Chimey's little heads were exposed. Then, he picked up a set of clothes that Wen Yu had helped prepare in advance last night and put them on before leaving the room. Lin Yuan basically never wore white clothes. Now that he was wearing white silk home clothes, it made him look even more youthful. When he went downstairs, he saw Lu Jia walking out of the kitchen with porridge and side dishes. Lu Jia replied with a simple and honest smile. "Lin Yuan, good morning." Lin Yuan quickly walked down the stairs. "Brother Lu, I'll help you." At this time, Wen Yu walked in from outside and said, "Young master, your express delivery has arrived." Upon hearing that, Lin Yuan placed a plate of freshly cut fruits on the table and hurried toward the door. Tomorrow, the fish tank made of jade-textured red sandalwood would be delivered by the Class 4 spirit craftsman, Hu Quan. He still had a lot of arrangements to prepare for this completely jade-textured red sandalwood fish tank. He had spent a lot of effort to purchase these new fays from the Star Web, and he had spent 10 days collecting them at a high price. As a creation master, Lin Yuan had produced a large number of silver usnias and elite spirit siphon goldfish, but he had never felt how rare these high-demand fays were. However, the large batch of fays that he had purchased this time made him deeply understand how precious rare fays were. These fays were all low-grade fays that had not been enhanced by creation masters, and they had already cost Lin Yuan a lot of radiance dollars. The package that Lin Yuan had signed for was stored in 2 gold fey storage boxes. After signing, he stored the 2 gold fey storage boxes in the Spirit Lock spatial zone. Afterward, he went to the dining room to have breakfast with Lu Jia and Wen Yu. Wen Yu came out of the kitchen, raised the mint meat pie in her hand, and said, "Young master, I don't know what Brother Lu added to the peppermint meat pancake this morning, but it smells much better than usual." Lu Jia said with a simple and honest smile as he held a pot of freshly boiled milk. The meat used in the peppermint meat patty is the meat of a gold pig species fey, so it smells especially fragrant. During the meal, they chatted as usual. However, he could vaguely sense that Lu Jia was much quieter than usual this morning, as if he had something on his mind. Lin Yuan went straight to the point. "Brother Lu, is there something on your mind?" When Lu Jia heard Lin Yuan's question, the decision he had made last night suddenly became firm. "Young master, I've been staying in the Imperial City recently, but I feel that my progress is a little slow, so I want to go out and train for a period of time. Is that okay?" Lin Yuan raised his brows. He had thought it was something important, but it turned out to be just this. "Brother Lu, although we're in a relationship between a creation master and a retainer knight, I've never thought of controlling your life. You're still in charge of your life. I always feel that our relationship is more like that of friends than that of a creation master and a retainer knight." When Lu Jia heard Lin Yuan's words, he felt indescribably touched. He smiled and raised the milk in his hand. "Cheers to friendship." The 3 cups collided and let out a crisp sound. Then, the milk in the 3 cups was drunk. Lu Jia did not take the initiative to expose Lin Yuan's identity as black, as he knew that Lin Yuan would naturally say it when he wanted to. Seeing that Lu Jia had nothing on his mind, Lin Yuan did have something to ask Lu Jia. "Brother Lu, what are the conditions to participate in the Radiance 100 sequence selection?" Lu Jia was not surprised by Lin Yuan's question. In his opinion, given Lin Yuan's strength and age, it would be a pity if he did not compete for the Radiance 100 sequence. Therefore, Lu Jia told Lin Yuan everything he knew in detail. The competition for the Radiance 100 sequence members is nothing more than a test of the young generation's character, strength, and talent. There are 3 ways to participate in the Radiance 100 sequence selection. The first is the most basic method, which is to become a city's 100 in each of the Radiance Federation's 32 major cities. From there, you will be qualified for the Radiance 100 sequence selection. The second way is to have a great contribution to the Radiance Federation or have outstanding achievements. Only the younger generation under the age of 24 have the opportunity to apply to the Federation officials and obtain the qualifications for the Radiance 100 sequence selection. The third way is to obtain a recommendation letter from the Radiance Federation's top experts to obtain the qualifications to participate in the Radiance 100 sequence selection. When Lin Yuan heard Lu Jia's words, he nodded in enlightenment. There was no doubt that the third way was much easier for Lin Yuan. As long as he had the recommendation letter from his teacher, the Moon Empress, he could participate in the Radiance 100 sequence selection. However, Lin Yuan still asked. What kind of contribution or achievement do I have to be qualified to obtain the conditions for the Radiance 100 sequence selection? Wuxia replied. The second method is actually the most difficult as compared to the first and third methods. For example, one has meritorious service in protecting the Radiance Federation, has received some Federation-wide awards, or has one's own exclusive achievements in the Star Tower. For example, the achievements of the Radiance Federation's young hero, Black, are probably in line with the conditions of the second method. His words made Lin Yuan's eyes light up. It seemed like he really fulfilled the second requirement to be selected into the Radiance 100 sequence. Putting aside his merits, just the fact that he was a Star Tower exclusive achievement was enough for him to meet the requirements. However, the Star Web's official news had arrived last night, and Black's virtual image on the Celestial Stairway achievement altar still needed nearly a month to be created. This included the design of Black's avatar, so it would take a little longer. From the looks of it, it would be the easiest for him to qualify for the Radiance 100 sequence by relying on the Star Tower's exclusive achievements. Moreover, Wuxia had just mentioned Black, so Lin Yuan simply said, "That's right. Hehe, Brother Lu, I am Black." Lin Yuan had not told Black about his identity before because Wuxia and Wenyu had never mentioned it. Lin Yuan also felt that there was no need to take the initiative to say it. Now that Wuxia had suddenly mentioned it, Lin Yuan naturally had nothing to hide. Anyway, Wenyu and Wuxia were on the same side. There was no obvious change in Wuxia's expression, and the same went for Wenyu. This was because Wuxia had already been surprised when he found out last night. Since he already knew the truth, there was nothing to be surprised about when he heard it again. However, Lin Yuan did not hide his identity, which gave Wuxia a very happy sense of trust. Wenyu ate the peppermint meat patty like a hamster and did not feel anything at all, looking as if it was natural. In Wenyu's opinion, Lin Yuan was the Moon Empress disciple. This identity was probably more awe-inspiring than the Radiance 100 sequence's chief sequence. The Moon Empress was not only a Class 5 creation master but also a pinnacle expert in the Radiance Federation. When she was young, she had been a Radiance envoy. Lin Yuan looked at the expressionless faces of Wuxia and Wenyu, which stunned him. Were they really not surprised at all? This surprised Lin Yuan a little. If Lin Yuan suddenly found out one day that Wuxia was a crossdresser, he would definitely be super surprised. Lin Yuan took 2 bites of the peppermint meat patty and asked. "Big Brother Lu, how strong do you think the members of the Radiance 100 sequence are?" Baidu immediately read the latest chapter of the Beast Evolution Merchant Claw Book House for free. Chapter 232. Upon hearing Lin Yuan's words, Wuxia pondered for a moment before replying. "I can't be sure of every Radiance 100 sequence member's level, but I can't trust the data published on Star Web. If I do, I will definitely screw up." Lin Yuan was a little surprised to hear that. "Brother Lu, what do you mean?" Wuxia hurriedly explained. All the phase used by the Radiance 100 sequence members in the open tournaments, exhibition matches, and Celestial Stairway duels are the phase used when they were selected for the Radiance 100 sequence selection. When every Radiance 100 sequence member is nominated for the Radiance 100 sequence, they will receive a large amount of resources from the Federation. Therefore, they should have shifted their main phase and used their comprehended willpower runes to nurture new fantasy breed phase. It's just that these people are all very sinister. Every year, they would hold back their strength during the sequence rankings and not reveal their strength. That's because the goal of sequence members is to accumulate strength and charge to the top in one fell swoop, directly raising their ranking by a large level. Therefore, the ranking of the Radiance 100 sequence members will either not change, or it will be a huge change. Every year, there will be people rushing up and people falling down. Take me as an example. I became a Radiance 100 sequence member 4 years ago, but I still only used the Insect Queen's normal, elite, and silver abilities during the second year of the sequence ranking. As for the gold skill, Lightning Gathering Moth, even though I already had it back then, I hid it and never used it. There was nothing he could not say to Lin Yuan. Outsiders would not know about the Radiance 100 sequence's internal secrets. Lin Yuan was a little stunned. It felt like his understanding of the Radiance 100 sequence's strength had been in vain. If he hadn't asked Lu Jie and had taken the information he saw on Star Web seriously, he might have fallen into a fatal trap. This made Lin Yuan involuntarily recall a few months ago when he had been able to sense the world's spirit chi. Back then, he had watched the exhibition match between Sequence 18 White Devil and Sequence 47 Unknown Fire on Star Web. However, be it Sequence 18 White Devil or Sequence 47 Unknown Flame, the strength they displayed was not that amazing to Lin Yuan. It turned out that Sequence 18 White Devil and Sequence 47 Unknown Flame had hidden their strength and displayed the strength they had when they had just been selected into the Radiance 100 sequence. Such news immediately gave Lin Yuan a sense of urgency. After eating, he returned to his room and entered the Spirit Lock spatial zone. Lin Yuan also had plans to go out to train in the near future, but he did not think of traveling with Lu Jie. Lin Yuan's strength was far inferior to Lu Jie's. If he went out to train with Lu Jie, he would not be able to achieve his goal of tempering himself in life and death situations. In his opinion, the spirit chi crystals condensed by Morbius spirit chi condensation were much easier than enhancing silver/fantasy breed phase. Therefore, he still focused on increasing his spirit chi professional rank. He opened the 2 gold phase storage boxes that had arrived in the morning. One of the gold phase storage boxes contained 99 spirit-containing hibiscuses, while the other contained 99 glow-winged butterflies. He had spent nearly $500 Radiance to buy these spirit-containing hibiscuses from Star Web. They ranged from normal level 1 to elite level 5. Like the spirit siphon goldfish, these spirit-containing hibiscuses were phased that could breathe spirit chi. However, the spirit siphon goldfish's grade increased slowly, while the spirit-containing hibiscuses needed a large amount of spirit chi to grow. In an environment with low spirit chi content, they would wither in less than a day. The greater the spirit chi, the better the spirit-containing hibiscuses would grow, and the more and fuller hibiscuses would bloom. They could be considered a very delicate plant fey. The way the spirit-containing hibiscuses breathed spirit chi was very special. Each of the spirit-containing hibiscuses flowers was the size of a bowl, and the color of the flowers varied from dark pink to light purple. These flowers bloomed in the morning and withered in the evening, and the spirit chi released by the spirit-containing hibiscuses was contained in these fallen flowers. The fallen flowers of the spirit-containing hibiscuses were very suitable food for the spirit siphon goldfish and the dragon phoenix landscape carp. The other glow-winged butterflies and the spirit-containing hibiscuses were similar in degree and needed a large amount of spirit chi to survive. The glow-winged butterflies were only the size of a thumb, and their wings would change according to the color of the flowers they inhabited. The more spiritual power they absorbed, the more magnificent the color of their wings. Although these glow-winged butterflies could not be compared with the blue flash butterfly's beauty, the glow-winged butterfly's wings were a layer higher than the blue flash butterflies, and they were more dexterous when flying. At the same time, the glow-winged butterfly's abilities had the dust avoidance effect. When the glow-winged butterflies flew, they could expel all the dust and harmful particles in the air, making the air abnormally fresh. Lin Yuan immediately started and promoted these 99 spirit-containing hibiscuses and 99 glow-winged butterflies to bronze I/flawless. Lin Yuan would need 1 to 2 hours to promote phase quality to bronze X/epic in the Spirit Lock spatial zone. However, it would only take less than 10 minutes to promote phase quality to bronze I/flawless. After some work, these spirit-containing hibiscuses and glow-winged butterflies were all promoted to bronze I/flawless. Subsequently, Lin Yuan picked out 99 5-fortune ranches of the best quality from the spirit pool. Since these 5-fortune ranches had not awakened their dragon species bloodline, their bodies were not big and were only the size of a palm. The quality of these 5-fortune ranches had already reached the level of Elite 9. There were even a few 5-fortune ranches that had advanced to the bronze grade. He also raised the grade of all the 5-fortune ranches to bronze I/flawless. Lin Yuan exited the spirit lock spatial zone, and in a short while, his phone rang. He picked up the phone and heard the voice of the Class 4 spirit craftsman, Hu Quan, coming from the other end. "Kid, I've already prepared the red sandalwood fish tank you ordered. Tell me, when should I deliver it to you?" Looking at the sky, it was already dusk of the second day. There were even clouds of fire burning in the sky. It was a magnificent sight to behold. "Senior, if it's convenient, you can deliver it to me now." Lin Yuan had been busy for dozens of hours in order to match this upcoming red sandalwood fish tank. At the same time, by enhancing phase, he could also increase the spiritual power level in his body. In less than an hour, the Class 4 spirit craftsman, Hu Quan, arrived at the mansion where Lin Yuan was. Lin Yuan went out to welcome him and led him into the house. Hu Quan was dumbfounded. "Fuck, what kind of noble immortal's nest is this?" After a long while, the middle-aged man, who was a Class 4 spirit craftsman, finally came back to his senses. He sized up Lin Yuan and could not help but think. "Damn it, what is this youth's identity? It's simply too awesome to live in such an environment all day long." When Hu Quan placed the red sandalwood fish tank in the position that Lin Yuan had requested and used it as a view wall, it was Lin Yuan's turn to be surprised. The completely jade-textured red sandalwood was a supreme treasure. Now that it had been sculpted by Hu Quan, it was no longer ordinary. Read the latest chapter of the Beast Evolution Merchant Claw Book House for free. Chapter 233. According to Lin Yuan's request, the top of the red sandalwood fish tank was made into a huge flower bed design. The flower bed was carved with the Longevity Sutra and all kinds of mountain and river scenes. Every stone and wood was carved vividly. In the tank, a dark-colored completely jade-textured red sandalwood was carved into a strange pine. The pine stem was like a horned dragon, the pine branches had pride, and the pine leaves had spirit. There were also pine cones on the top of the pine, which meant happiness, longevity, and peace. 8 cities were carved at the bottom of the tank, and there were cold water carvings on the pond. These 8 cities arched this strange pine as if they were holding up a mountain peak. Lin Yuan read softly. Cold water descends upon the 8 cities, and the divine tree lifts the peak of the unaging pine. This scene coincided with the saying of longevity and happened to match the Longevity Sutra carved on the completely jade-textured red sandalwood. Only when longevity was combined could it be considered endless and endless. At that moment, when you came over with a pipe and connected the ground of the mansion to the red sandalwood longevity fish tank. This place had been built recently and was connected to the artificial lake in the mansion. Soon, when you mobilized the water pressure and pressed the water in the artificial lake into the 9-meter long, 3-meter wide, and 4-meter high red sandalwood longevity fish tank. Even though Wen Yu was used to seeing good things in the Radiance Palace, she could not help but be a little dazed when she saw this fish tank. It was not because of how rare the materials of this fish tank were but because of its design. Lin Yuan said to Hu Quan, a Class 4 spirit craftsman at the side. "Senior, help me." Hu Quan looked at the red sandalwood longevity fish tank with some reluctance. When he thought that he would never see it again in a while, he felt his heart ache. Upon hearing Lin Yuan say that he would help, Hu Quan was naturally willing. He wanted to see what this youth in front of him wanted to raise in such a good fish tank. Even if Hu Quan was experienced and knowledgeable, he really did not think that there was any fae that could be raised in a fish tank that was worthy of such a fish tank. "Senior, can you help me open the flower bed at the top of the fish tank first?" As a Class 4 spirit craftsman, the objects he created generally contained ingenuity. Therefore, if Lin Yuan wanted to figure out how to dismantle it himself, it would really take a long time. At this time, when you had already brought a ladder over, Hu Quan took the ladder and climbed up the 4-meter-high fish tank in a few steps. With a few crackling sounds, the flower bed at the top of the fish tank was lifted by Hu Quan. Upon seeing this, Lin Yuan waved his hand, and the 3 bronze/epic dragon phoenix landscape carps and 99 bronze eye/flawless 5 fortune ranches, which he had placed in the leaf-shaped diamond face storage box, entered the fish tank carved from completely jade-textured red sandalwood. As Hu Quan was holding the flower stand, he really saw what Lin Yuan had put into the fish tank. He heard a lot of splashing sounds. Before Hu Quan could take a look, the red sandalwood fish tank, which was completely carved from jade-textured red sandalwood, suddenly lit up. It was as if purple clouds were rising from the east. Hu Quan was shocked. The completely jade-textured red sandalwood could only have such an effect under the influence of a large amount of spirit qi. Hu Quan became more and more curious about what exactly was in this fish tank. When Hu Quan replaced the flower stand on the top of the fish tank and came down from the ladder, he glanced at the fish tank. If Lin Yuan had not helped him quickly, the ladder would have fallen to the ground with Hu Quan's action. Hu Quan was a Class 4 spirit craftsman and a King-class expert, but he was not good at fighting. Even with his King-class strength, he could not help but gasp in amazement at the scene in front of him. These gasps were not entirely due to surprise but more due to the beauty of the scene in front of him. At that moment, 3 bronze/epic dragon phoenix landscape carps were swimming in the red sandalwood longevity fish tank like dragons and phoenixes. The 99 bronze eye/flawless 5 fortune ranches released majestic spirit qi, which significantly increased the spirit qi in the entire house. The 5 fortune ranches had 5 colors, red, white, yellow, green, and black, on their bodies. Among them, red was the most, while black was the least. They swam together like a huge embroidered ball. The 3 dragon phoenix landscape carps swam around the embroidered ball formed by the 5 fortune ranches like a dragon and phoenix playing with a pearl. It was an auspicious scene. As a spirit craftsman, Hu Quan was one of the small wave of people who constantly pursued art. Upon seeing such a scene, Hu Quan felt his heart surge as he said to Lin Yuan, "That's right." He said to Lin Yuan, "Your design with these phase is simply amazing. High-grade auspicious phase with low-grade auspicious phase with purple qi longevity patterns is truly a kind of great elegant music." Upon hearing that, Lin Yuan scratched his head and said, "Senior, it's not over yet." Upon hearing that, Lin Yuan scratched his head and said, "Senior, it's not over yet." After saying that, Lin Yuan took out the 2 gold fei storage boxes again. However, unlike before, the spirit-containing hibiscuses and glow-winged butterflies in these 2 fei storage boxes had now become bronze eye/flawless. Lin Yuan and Wen Yu planted these bronze eye/flawless spirit-containing hibiscuses on the flower stand at the top of the fish tank. It was already dusk, and the flowers of the spirit-containing hibiscuses were the most beautiful at this time. However, the flowers had already withered. In another hour, these spirit-containing hibiscuses containing spirit qi would fall into the fish tank through the gaps of the flower stand and become food for the dragon phoenix landscape carps and 5 fortune ranches. These 99 bronze eye 5 fortune ranches just happened to meet the growth conditions of the spirit-containing hibiscuses. The 2 complemented each other and formed a good cycle. Under such a concentration of spirit qi, each bronze eye/flawless spirit-containing hibiscuses could bloom dozens of bowl-sized flowers. With so many purple flowers clustered together, it was as if they were carrying the rising purple aura to form a sky. Look at the morning and dusk, in the small window with a smile, "Don't plant immortal peaches, they turn red once in 1,000 years." This was referring to the hibiscus-type phase. The spirit-containing hibiscuses bloomed and fell in the morning, symbolizing the cycle of time. Each time they withered, they bloomed more brilliantly at dawn. As the sun continued to set and rise, it was like spring passing and autumn coming. The 4 seasons rotated but grew and multiplied endlessly. Therefore, the meaning of the spirit-containing hibiscuses in this red sandalwood fish tank was sky. This was the scene in Lin Yuan's heart. Dragons and phoenixes play with pearls and rise with purple aura, and the heavens bestow blessings of grace. Hu Quan could not help but clap his hands and exclaim jokingly, "This is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. This is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. If I hadn't broadened my horizons today, I would have thought that this red sandalwood fish tank was going to be ruined. If you can come up with any new tricks, I'm going to close my shop. As long as you can afford it, I'm willing to work in your manner." Lin Yuan's eyes lit up when he heard Hu Quan's words. His mansion had just been built, and many places needed to be carefully carved. If he could have a class for spirit craftsmen, he would not need to spend any effort on the construction of his mansion. Lin Yuan asked. "Senior, are you serious?" Hu Quan was stunned when he heard Lin Yuan's question and then burst out laughing. "Of course, I'm serious. Go to the Spirit Craftsman Association and ask if I, Hu Quan, am the most trustworthy." Lin Yuan could not help but think of the 90% negative review rate of Hu Quan's store on Star Web. However, Lin Yuan did not say anything and opened another gold face storage box. 99 bronze eye/flawless glow-winged butterflies, which were still white, flew out of the gold face storage box. They went straight to the flowers of the spirit-containing hibiscuses that were blooming. In a short while, the colors of these glow-winged butterflies were dyed light purple with the change of environment. Among the rising purple aura of the flowers, it was as if they were dancing in the glow and playing in the sky. Even the burning clouds in the sky were far less gorgeous than the red sandalwood longevity fish tank. Dragon and phoenix, hydrangea, divine wood, cold water, hibiscuses, glow-winged butterflies, purple aura, auspicious aura, blessings, and longevity. 9 kinds of elegant music, plus the 9-meter-long red sandalwood longevity fish tank, the spirit-containing hibiscus, and the glow-winged butterflies, symbolized the heavenly Tao's imperfection. However, it was precisely because of this imperfection that there were endless variables and more perfect. The bronze eye/flawless glow-winged butterflies flew in a circle in the house as if they were blooming hibiscuses that were blown into the air by the wind. The air in the house immediately became fresh because of the glow-winged butterflies' dust-repellent characteristics, and the originally clean house became even more spotless. The expression on Hu Quan's face was now completely wonderful. Hu Quan had just said it on a whim, but he did not expect that his casual words would put him in a difficult position. However, looking at the wonder in front of him, Hu Quan suddenly felt as if a new world had opened in his head. Perhaps it was not bad to change life. Wasn't this extreme beauty in front of him what he had always pursued? At that moment, before Lin Yuan had time to carefully appreciate the results in front of him, he suddenly heard the mother of Bloodbath's strange but pleasant voice in his ears. At that moment, the mother of Bloodbath's strange and pleasant voice was full of oppression and pain. "Lin Yuan, quickly take me out of the city. The farther away from the royal capital, the better." Lin Yuan's expression changed, and he ran out the door without another word. Hu Quan was shocked and said, "There's no need to close the door. I didn't say I won't stay in your mansion." Before Hu Quan could finish speaking, Lin Yuan, who had already run to the door, shouted, "When you entertain Senior Hu Quan first. I don't know when I'll be back. If you have something to do, you can leave on your own." The moment Lin Yuan stepped out of the mansion, the mother of Bloodbath immediately jumped into his hand. At that moment, the mother of Bloodbath's body had become the size of a basketball. Obviously, for some reason, the mother of Bloodbath could not even maintain its camouflage. A majestic blood aura rose from the mother of Bloodbath's ferocious and magnificent body that looked like it was carved out of red crystals. It was as if it could erupt at any time. The mother of Bloodbath's body trembled slightly. It was obviously in extreme pain at this moment. Read the latest chapter of Beast Evolution Merchant Claw Book House for free immediately. Chapter 234. As a creation master, Lin Yuan could feel the mother of Bloodbath's current physical condition. The mother of Bloodbath was obviously unable to suppress the blood energy that was about to surge out of its body. Lin Yuan was using true data to check the mother of Bloodbath's current situation. With true data, Lin Yuan finally determined the mother of Bloodbath's current problem. It turned out that the mother of Bloodbath was about to promote from Myth I to Myth II. The promotion of the mother of Bloodbath's quality was originally a good thing, but Lin Yuan's brows were furrowed even tighter, looking abnormally anxious. This was because the Fae had reached suzerain, and the willpower rune had transformed into a law rune, transforming from a fantasy breed Fae into a myth breed Fae. Each time a myth breed Fae's quality improved, it would receive a world cleansing. When a suzerain/fantasy V Fae broke through the fantasy breed limit and transformed into a myth breed, its quality would reach Myth I. The world cleansing was to transform the willpower rune in its body that it had comprehended into a law rune. Such a heaven and earth cleansing was already extremely difficult for Faes to endure, and it was extremely difficult for them to survive. However, when a suzerain/myth breed Fae advanced from Myth I to Myth II, this second world cleansing was the most difficult hurdle in a Fae's life. If a Myth I wanted to reach Myth II, it was a process of the Fae's genetic model sublimation and complete transformation. After transforming from Myth I to Myth II, the Fae could condense a human body and switch back and forth between beast and human forms. Therefore, this world cleansing was a process of completely destroying and remodeling its body to achieve sublimation and transformation. A slight mistake would cause it to perish under the world cleansing. Lin Yuan had fully understood the secrets of suzerain/myth breed Fae's promotion and transformation during the question and answer session with the Moon Empress. However, the mother of Bloodbath's current situation was much stranger than what the Moon Empress had said about a suzerain/myth breed Fae evolving from Myth I to Myth II. Ordinary suzerain/myth breed Faes had to accumulate energy on their own to advance from Myth I to Myth II. When the energy was accumulated to a certain extent, it would use the law rune in its body to trigger this energy to communicate with heaven and earth, causing heaven and earth to descend the world cleansing. However, the mother of Bloodbath was clearly in a passive state. It was not the law rune in its body that triggered such a huge amount of blood energy. Lin Yuan asked anxiously. Mother of Bloodbath, what should I do? The mother of Bloodbath's strange but pleasant voice was exceptionally hoarse at this moment as it forced out a sentence intermittently. I can only hold on for another 40 minutes. In these 40 minutes, take me to the wilderness as far away from the capital as possible. Upon hearing that, Lin Yuan dashed out of the mansion. At the same time, Lin Yuan used his cell phone to book a Diamond Divine Travel Black Swallow that cost 800,000 Federation dollars for a single flight. The Diamond Rank Divine Travel Black Swallow's flying speed was more than 10 times faster than the Platinum Rank Divine Travel Black Swallow. He estimated the time it would take for the Diamond Divine Travel Black Swallow to arrive here and ran toward the royal capital south. 300 kilometers to the south of the royal city was the Endless Forest. The Diamond Divine Travel Black Swallow could fly for 40 minutes, which was enough time to fly to the depths of the Endless Forest and let the mother of Bloodbath receive the world cleansing there. Lin Yuan looked at the mother of Bloodbath's painful appearance in his hand and did not know what to say to comfort it. He did not dare to rashly help, afraid that his pure spirit chi would cause negative effects to the mother of Bloodbath. After running wildly for 3 minutes, Lin Yuan happened to see the diamond divine travel black swallow that had just landed. He took the mother of bloodbath and jumped onto the divine travel black swallow's back. The diamond divine travel black swallow immediately flapped its wings and flew toward the destination that Lin Yuan had just placed an order on his cell phone. When Lin Yuan got on the divine travel black swallow's back, he immediately panted heavily. The 3 minutes of intense running just now had almost exhausted all of Lin Yuan's physical strength, causing him to feel a burning pain in his chest when he breathed. The mother of bloodbath situation was getting worse, and the blood energy around its body had turned from bright red to dark red. It was like a burning blood energy flame, causing the clouds in the sky to be scattered into mist. When the diamond divine travel black swallow sensed the energy in the mother of bloodbath's body, it immediately cried out in fear and looked a little flustered. However, under Lin Yuan's comfort, the diamond divine travel black swallow flew faster toward the depths of the endless forest due to fear. At that moment, Lin Yuan was constantly feeling the changes in the mother of bloodbath's blood energy. He suddenly felt that there was an extremely weak but abnormally fresh blood energy in the mother of bloodbath's blood energy. Lin Yuan was shocked. Could it be that the mother of bloodbath was still injured? It was very difficult for a suzerain/myth I Fei to survive the world cleansing of Myth 2 at its peak. However, with the mother of bloodbath in such a sorry state and with its body injured, could it really survive the world cleansing of Myth 2? During this period of time, Lin Yuan and the mother of bloodbath had been together, and he had imperceptibly regarded the mother of bloodbath as a senior that silently protected him. Therefore, Lin Yuan's heart had been hanging by a thread. The diamond divine travel black swallow's speed was extremely fast. In less than 30 minutes, it had already traveled nearly 500 kilometers deep into the endless forest. At that moment, the mother of bloodbath in Lin Yuan's hand suddenly leaped toward the sky and let out a shrill cry. From the mother of bloodbath's basketball-sized body in midair, Lin Yuan could see what seemed to be broken red crystal-like objects separating from the mother of bloodbath's body. When these broken red crystal-like objects fell into the endless forest, they immediately caused the plants near the red crystals to grow wildly. A 30-meter-tall tree had already grown to 100 meters away in the blink of an eye. Lin Yuan's heart suddenly tightened. These red crystal-like objects were none other than the mother of bloodbath's high-purity blood. An extremely shrill cry resounded in midair, and the mother of bloodbath's basketball-sized body instantly became as big as a mountain. 8 slender spider legs were abnormally sharp, and blood-red stinging hairs covered the dark red spider's body that was as big as a mountain. Its gem-like compound eyes flickered with scarlet light. Suddenly, the scarlet light in the compound eyes flourished and immediately dispersed the clouds in the sky, leaving the originally cloudy sky spotless. The mother of bloodbath turned its head to look at Lin Yuan and said in a hoarse voice, "Lin Yuan, ride the divine travel black swallow and leave this place for 50 kilometers. Lin Yuan, ride the divine travel black swallow and leave 50 kilometers from here. Come back after the world cleansing is over. If you succeed, we can go back together. If not, what remains of my body will be yours." When the mother of bloodbath said this, its tone was very calm, with a trace of nostalgia but no sadness. The life of a wild fae was originally nurtured by nature. They had to experience countless dangers and competitions since they were young. Every suzerain/myth breed fae had stepped on countless fae corpses to reach this peak. From the moment it set foot on this path, the mother of bloodbath had already been aware that such a day would come sooner or later. Baidu, read the latest chapter of Beast Evolution Merchant Claw Book House for free. Chapter 235. The mother of bloodbath knew very well that it would either transform into a more powerful creature under the baptism of heaven and earth. Otherwise, he would leave behind a broken body under the baptism of heaven and earth. From then on, everything in the world would be separated from this body. In the mother of bloodbath's opinion, if not for the Moon Empress's help back then, it would have become a pile of white bones when it advanced from suzerain/fantasy V to myth breed. How would it have the qualifications to ascend to myth? The heart of a Fae clearly distinguished between gratitude and hatred. To the mother of Bloodbath, the only person it was grateful to in this world was the Moon Empress. Therefore, the mother of Bloodbath had not hesitated to become the Moon Empress disciple and Lin Yuan's path protector. The mother of Bloodbath's thoughts were very simple. If it died, its body would be of some use. This was also the only repayment he could give to the Moon Empress. With that said, the majestic blood energy on the mother of Bloodbath's body soared into the sky, blasting a dark hole in the blue sky. A captivating red law rune flew up from the mother of Bloodbath's back armor and bloomed with majesty as if it could fight against the heavens. This kind of majesty revealed a kind of indescribable truth. It was as if it was supposed to be a part of the core of this world. This was the power of the rules. This was because the law rune itself was a law recognized by the heavens and earth. At that moment, the mother of Bloodbath withdrew all of its consciousness back into the depths of its mind. He gathered all the strength in his body and prepared to resist the baptism of heaven and earth. The mother of Bloodbath did not realize that Lin Yuan had no intention of leaving this place. The Diamond Divine Travel Black Swallow had already fled in fear the moment the mother of Bloodbath summoned the law rune. The ground beneath Lin Yuan's feet had turned into yellow sand. The soil in the endless forest was very soft, but the minerals in the inner layer were very hard, very suitable for producing high-quality yellow sand. At this moment, the source sand was relying on its instincts to quickly create sand. Lin Yuan was currently communicating with Morbius in his mind. Morbius, what's the probability of the mother of Bloodbath surviving this world cleansing? Morbius' voice echoed in the depths of his mind. It's 0. After Morbius revived, the true data skill was strengthened. In addition to being able to see through the essence of an object, it could also analyze it based on its essence. Therefore, when Morbius said that the success rate was 0, the mother of Bloodbath was destined to die today. As Lin Yuan's contracted Fae, Morbius could directly sense Lin Yuan's intentions. After sensing Lin Yuan's current thoughts, Morbius said, "Don't worry. You are my contractor, and I am your Fae, so you don't have to consider so much. Just do what you want to do." After Morbius said that, Chimy's voice echoed in Lin Yuan's mind. There was also Red Thorn's faint intimacy and dependence. It was as though the world existed wherever Lin Yuan was. Lin Yuan turned Genius Tool transformation into a pair of glasses and wore them on the bridge of his nose. Then, he let Chimy and Red Thorn coordinate with the yellow sand created by the source sand to form a fortress. Lin Yuan let the spirit gather goldfish release the spirit injection on him. The jasmine lily was also suspended in the line of defense formed by the yellow sand, ready to heal at any moment. The spirit chi imprint on Lin Yuan's body was also flickering with blue radiance, as though this layer of imprint could be opened at any time. However, the mother of Bloodbath was still unaware of Lin Yuan's existence and was hibernating there. It was mobilizing a huge amount of energy in its body and preparing to endure the world tribulation's baptism. Lin Yuan looked at the mother of Bloodbath and smiled. The Path Protector's duty was to protect himself. However, when the Path Protector was in danger, his shoulders might not be broad, but he could still fight for a chance of survival with the world. Lin Yuan knew that the world tribulation was very dangerous, but he was not a fool. Lin Yuan was not considered close to the mother of Bloodbath. At the same time, as long as the mother of Bloodbath did not fail its metamorphosis, it would bear all the energy of the world tribulation. As for the aftermath that spread out, although it would injure Lin Yuan, it was not unstoppable. At that moment, Lin Yuan was going to use all his strength. Although he might not be able to help the mother of Bloodbath overcome the crisis and pull its life back from the gates of hell, at least there was an additional chance of survival. However, at least there was an additional chance of survival. This chance of survival would allow him to have a clear conscience and not regret it. The sky showed its most tyrannical side at that moment. The pitch-black hole shrouded everything within a few miles in a layer of thick ink-like black clouds. Thunder snakes swam in the ink-black clouds, and it began to rain heavily. These raindrops hit the fortress formed by the source sand and penetrated the layer of ferromanganese on the surface of the source sand, splashing out a half-inch deep sandpit. After withstanding this wave of rain, the fortress formed by the source sand's yellow sand became thinner. However, the rainwater mixed with the yellow sand made the fortress sturdier. If the rain under the world tribulation was already like this, then what about the thunder and lightning in the ink-black clouds? Lin Yuan's contracted source sand had already created a large amount of yellow sand. A large amount of yellow sand formed a thick layer of yellow sand buffer around the mother of bloodbath's body. The yellow sand buffer had precipitated ferromanganese in it. The ferromanganese could conduct a portion of the world tribulation's lightning damage to the mother of bloodbath into the depths of the ground. Lin Yuan's actions immediately alarmed the mother of bloodbath. The mother of bloodbath's thoughts were all concentrated in the depths of its mind. However, the current abnormality made the mother of bloodbath immediately split a trace of its mind to check. With this check, the mother of bloodbath's mind immediately woke up. The mother of bloodbath saw a youth in a fortress formed by yellow sand, seriously helping to arrange the yellow sand buffer around it. His eyes were so serious and firm. The mother of bloodbath's spider eyes rippled with a layer of crystal. The mother of bloodbath had lived for so many years, but it was shocked by this youth's eyes. The mother of bloodbath's will to live was already extremely weak, as no one in this world would understand its current physical state better than the mother of bloodbath itself. However, at this moment, the mother of bloodbath strangely wanted to live. This will to survive made the law runes in the mother of bloodbath brighter. In the mother of bloodbath's opinion, Lin Yuan's actions were no different from a mantis trying to stop a chariot. In fact, at the moment of his death, without his resistance, the overflowing heaven and earth energy could turn Lin Yuan into powder. A mantis trying to stop a chariot might be useless, but the camaraderie moved the mother of bloodbath. Before the mother of bloodbath could say a word, the thunder under the world tribulation struck down. It struck the mother of bloodbath's blood-red law rune, causing the law rune to tremble. The mother of bloodbath leaped up and kept the blood-red law rune back into its body. The mother of bloodbath's body lit up with a red crystal-like luster as it welcomed the thunder and lightning that constantly fell from the world tribulation. Read the latest chapter of the Imperial Beast Evolution Merchant Claw Bookhouse for free. You're tuning in to the Xiaofan's Wuxia Tales YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.